someone yelled ahoy. Who the hell's cabin boy? Somebody named Tony, who knows? Once we got the skip, well, Amin jumped ship, 'cause he knew we would sail to gold. Pirate radio with the ship and crew. We got wind in our sails and the sky is blue. There's a devil up our nose, so much work to do for the pirate radio.
All right, we are post-round here at Lake Tahoe. We all played a round, a practice round. We're not in the real tournament. Baby steps.
It was real to us. We're
trying to get there next year. Was it real? It didn't feel real to me. None of that felt real to me.
I know. I'm so sad it's over. We played with Philip Bailey. It was the three of us, Stugotz, my dad, and myself. Yes. Philip Bailey, the lead singer of Earth, Wind & Fire, and Marty Fish. And what a delight Philip Bailey was, but I'm not sure he felt the same way about us. Did he like us?
Oh, yeah, he did.
I know his wife. What a delight she was. I know she loved us.
I was riding the cart with him the entire time.
Oh, okay.
I trust me when I tell you he really, really liked us.
Okay, yeah. Good.
Yeah,
no,
he
had
loved
a great
your
time.
dad, man.
Yeah.
He had a great time.
Did he sing for you?
Yeah.
He did, yeah. Yeah, we
not even for a podcast, just
the two of us. Right, exactly. It was romantic. It was great.
What did he say?
September, his big hit.
You played the hits.
In a higher pitch than I can mimic.
Wait a second. Are you calling him a one-hit wonder? That
No,
got 27 hits.
Oh, I know, but that's arguably his biggest, or their biggest.
How'd you feel about the day? How'd you feel, Greg, about the day?
Despite not playing that well, especially real early on, I had the jitters. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I thought it was great. I sank like a 35-foot putt, which was the high point of my day. And I just enjoyed the heck out of it. The company was great. The vista, idyllic.
I think we got 7 goodness me's from Chris Whittingham today on the views.
Every turn, right?
Is there anything that feels better than you hitting a shot and Chris Whittingham saying brilliant?
Oh, yeah. And he's not a real golf savant, so like there were a couple times where it wasn't a great shot, but he still said it because he's just like, but it's just, it feels great.
No, I kind of like judge the flight of the ball.
Right.
There's a couple of cases. We did that to Marty Fish as well. And Marty Fish like kind of gave us like a patronizing, like, yeah, some people say that's a good shot, but I really know it's not that good of a shot.
Marty Fish walking down a fairway looks like a professional golfer.
He does.
Right?
Man.
Everything about that guy. Everything about that guy gives off professional golfer.
He didn't hit a ball that wasn't, I feel like every ball was crisp that he hit. Like there wasn't one like where it, like he lost it to the left. Like he was maybe off with a little distance here or there, but it was just every ball was hit crisp.
Yeah, he's a really good golfer. He won the thing last year. He's a scratch golfer. Greg, I would say the highlight of your day was not that putt. I would say it was the
tee shot on
16.
Yeah, the tee shot on
16. The tee shot.
Yeah, but that ended up being way past the hole. I mean, it was on the green, but
short of the hole.
No, it was short of the hole, but that's the ball we used.
That's true.
That
That's true. You're right. Yeah.
I mean, it looked like it was going in. It was tracking to the hole for a little bit.
Yeah.
Did we talk about yet that putt though? We just referenced it. Like my dad drilled a 35. Like 40-footer, right? That putt was...
Yeah, 40-footer.
I must have missed that. I didn't see that. But I will say there was a couple of holes.
I think that was when we lost you for a hole.
Oh, really? Oh, was that on 10?
On 10.
We
were worried about you.
Yeah,
it was hot.
We're like, where's Whittingham?
The sun is beating down.
Wait, Chris, but explain how you noticed that Chris was okay. Like you saw him. Like
I saw him in the distance. I was like, I know that walk. There's the Whittingham walk. I didn't know if we just left you behind, but apparently you snuck off to get some shade and some food.
Yeah. I went to go get air conditioning and house some cold sodas because I was just dying out there. So Tony and I had the experience of there were not enough carts for all of us, so we rode on the back of carts. Also, now friend of the program, Lewis, our videographer.
I feel so bad about this.
Well, so Stugotz,
I don't, but
Stugotz
I do.
hooks a
hang
left.
on, Lewis, Jesus.
Stugotz hooks a left, and next thing I know, Lewis is flat on his stomach, having fallen over.
Just nod with the camera if you
Philip Bailey said, "You tell that guy to hold the on." I was like, my daughter held on.
It was a sharp left, though. You did.
Right. I don't know him that well. Are you gonna get mad at us? Is he sensitive? I have no idea. It was a great day, man. It's not every day like you're just playing golf. Like you're on one hole. There's Kelsey and Mahomes on another hole. I heard you say at one point, "Oh yeah, look, Michael Strahan's over there."
Michael Strahan. You just drive by. It's like, oh, there's Jerry Rice. You know what? You know how you know it was just this insane round where I was just like trying to be in the moment. We bought beer and I only drank one. I had multiple beers in this little cooler that I bought around the second hole. I drank one of them. Granted, my dad killed my portion.
But I think the math there means that I had 3. But that's okay.
I was just I was just like, I don't even need that. I don't know why. I don't know what that had to do with like the nice course, but I was like, you know what else? I feel like drinking.
Yeah.
Here's what else I really enjoyed about it. 15, 16 holes were regular golf holes, quiet, polite galleries. But then 2 or 3 holes were like raucous.
Yeah.
With the pumping music and the loud in a beach scene and boats. And,
Shout out to the 7 fans of ours that like showed up.
Oh, there were more than
really
that.
cool. There were more than that.
Well, yeah,
Great.
but just like specifically that followed us for the whole time.
Yeah.
No, but I like what Greg's saying because those holes are fun.
I
like,
love it.
So it's like the TPC Waste Management, the 16th hole, which is the most exciting hole in golf,
Yeah.
right? It's because the fans are crazy, they're rowdy, they're chanting, they're trying to get you to choke.
Yeah.
Like they want you to
it's
miss
great.
putts, right? And they're
It's
all
like
hammered.
not quite golf.
But you want more
something
holes
different.
like that in golf,
Yeah.
and I think the players do too,
Yeah.
because the players say they love that tournament more than anything.
Yeah.
It's a sports atmosphere. You know, it's like being in an arena or a stadium for a
fun.
minute.
Yeah. And somehow it helps you relax. That's where you almost had your hole in one.
Yeah.
And it was
I said
also
you almost hole in one. It was 40 feet.
I'll take. I'll
Is this gonna
take
be like
almost.
This
is
is
this
Mike
gonna,
Ryan,
this is
yeah.
gonna be the Mike Ryan thing? Like 10 years from now, it's gonna be 2
the
inches
Corona
from the hole.
16.
That's right. Exactly.
going to replace the Devil's Isle.
Were you gonna compliment me? We interrupted
Yeah,
you.
yeah. No, actually, no. I was
You're such an
very,
asshole.
very eager for that.
No, I want to hear it.
No, the other raucous hole was the hole where your drives were caught on camera.
Yeah.
And that's also the hole where you almost killed someone. So
Yeah.
it's not quite the compliment you were hoping
Yeah,
for.
yeah.
But
Well, because they were tracking my swing on this hole. They put something on my driver, and I just felt a little extra. You know, when in golf, if you have one little thing in your head, that it's like, yeah. So I yanked it, and I almost killed someone. She's alive though. I missed her.
Was that the?
It was a guy that was like running the thing. The guy that gave you the champagne. He's
Yeah,
like,
Stugotz.
that's
That's
my
the hole I
wife.
hit the
He's like,
champagne
you almost hit
bottle,
my
yeah.
wife. I was like, that could have been bad.
so for the audience that would not have seen that hole, it was somewhere on your front nine, which is the back nine here at Lake Tahoe.
Correct.
And there's a giant inflatable champagne bottle because the hole is sponsored by a champagne company. Stugotz drills the inflatable champagne bottle, and they give you a whole bottle of champagne.
They
or
gave
just
me a
like-
whole bottle of champagne. I cracked it open on the tee box.
and you
there.
were bad the next 3 holes.
And I was bad. Well, I slugged some of the champagne. I was really good right up until that point, and then I was bad,
Yeah.
and then I brought it back, I think,
Yeah.
towards the end. But the guy's like, hey, congratulations, you hit the champagne bottle. I'm like, dude, your f***ing champagne bottle
Yeah.
got in the way of my ball.
I know, right? It cost me 40 yards.
yards on it.
Good times.
Yeah, it was.
Can we just go do it again? Let's just like, I'm mad it's over.
You're upset, right?
No, but we can
The
go
letdown.
again next year. I feel like this year we've been a smash hit.
A Schmidt? I need to stop. It's too much.
No, it's not. It's not.
We've been a smash hit, and I feel like we'll get the invite perhaps even for the proper tournament next year.
I mean, Stugotz might get in the proper tournament. Like, you have to be a legitimate celebrity to be in that. I don't even think. I'm pretty sure Philip. Like, I heard from Philip Bailey's caddy that he's not even playing in the main tournament. Like,
Yeah, but Phil Belly can play in the main tour. He's 70 years old. He was telling me he just doesn't want to play through.
Right.
golf
Oh,
like
okay.
that.
Yeah.
Like he
I
was
guess
excited
you're
when
right.
our
He's on
round
the
was
level.
over.
I think once you're invited, you're sort of in the club.
Right.
Because at that meeting, they mentioned there are only 7 new first-time
everyone.
golfers.
I mean, who wouldn't come here every year if you're a celebrity? That room. Can we talk about? I know we kind of did a podcast about that. We were in a room last night. It was kind of just the pre-tournament.
The players' invite.
Yeah,
Right,
and
it was a players'
just,
invite.
and it was basically just a room that we were in, and it was just like Justin Timberlake, Aaron Rodgers, Michael Strahan, like it was like 50 people. All the celebrities that are playing in this tournament were just in one room, and it was just like it was crazy how Adam Thielen was just sitting alone in a corner.
Sneaky good looking, though.
He's so good looking, but he's just not. I guess people don't recognize him. Like, right? We were like,
Yeah, I don't think he's running the circles as yet to be like
there has to be a guy no one's talking to of the celebrities, and it
Yes.
happened to be Adam Thielen, and I didn't see that coming.
You're right. More people were talking to Robbie Gold.
Yeah.
Which was odd.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Than
there's
Adam
like kind
Thielen.
of like various fraternities in the Tahoe like group. There's like the baseball players. There's the head coaches. Like
Yeah,
like there's
the
a
coaches.
significant coaches
Yes.
corner.
Brian
Yes.
Kelly a little bit on the outskirts of that group, kind of
Weird,
trying to
right?
hang out there. and,
Right. Like he's
It
in.
was Vrabel, Doug Peterson are like the cool guys in that group, and
Right.
then, like,
But they don't like him,
and
right?
Brian Kelly's like, I'm a coach. Can I hang out with you guys?
Why are you
I'm not
sliding
saying
off
that.
Doug
I'm not
Peterson?
reporting that. It seemed like that.
Yeah, right.
Maybe it was just an off night for Kelly.
Right.
You sat next to us in the outdoor function.
He did. It was sad. I mean, not our table is. Just Brian Kelly. No coaches hanging out. I feel bad for Brian Kelly. No, I don't. I don't. I really don't. You know what was really cool? We had the 3 Braves pitchers. Greg, I was
Oh, my
talking to
God.
Greg about this. You had Smoltz, Maddox, and Glavine all in the same room together.
They did
And
like
Maddox
Cooperstown.
was total, like in full Maddox form, right?
At one point, there was a magician there. At one point, I was watching the Magic next to Greg Maddox, and then Kevin Nealon comes up, taps me like, "What's this guy doing?" And I'm just like, Kevin Nealon, Greg Maddox, like, what is my life?
Right. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, somebody's singing, and it's Justin Timberlake singing YMCA.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a neat moment.
Getting back to your Braves point though, Mike has a point, which is if you always look old, then you age great, because then if you look like you're 45 when you're 25, then when you're 45 you'll look 45. And I feel like John Smoltz kind of perfected that, because I didn't recognize Tom Glavine. And Greg Maddux looks like a different person as well. But John Smoltz looks exactly the same. Bald with the goatee. It's the same look.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Tom Glavine he looked older than I expected.
Yeah, but Maddox looked exactly the way I wanted him to, and the way I imagined that he would, right? Yeah. Like glass of red wine, sitting with a little wood table right next to him.
Collar shirt tucked
taking
into
notes.
some khakis.
Right.
Yeah.
Painting the corners.
A pen and a pad. Painting
Interesting.
corners.
In the meeting. He's painting corners in the middle of a meeting.
But I feel like one of the things I've been most interested by is how much some of the guys take it so seriously.
Yeah.
Like they are unapproachable on the driving range, or just dialed into their rounds. I'm actually excited. We're recording this on Thursday before the proper tournament begins. Like just how much game faces come on starting tomorrow.
I mean, I was talking to Marty about it. They take it seriously. Like Marty wants to win this thing, and so does Tony Romo.
He's second favorite, Marty Fish.
Yeah, but there's a lot of guys out here who know Romo's the favorite.
Yeah.
We should bet Marty Fish. We should.
Yeah, I will. I'm going to tonight.
We should.
We have
Greg and I were saying we should like just run around the course like fish heads, come up with like a
we
lane
should,
golf
yeah.
name,
Yeah.
right? Marty,
Yeah.
It's a shot.
Get a big sign made or something.
But Chris, they're athletes, so they're competitors, right? They take their shit seriously. But I think a lot of guys know they have no chance of winning, so they're just out here to have a good time. Like Kelsey knows he's not winning. Kelsey, every time I've seen Kelsey today, he's at beer.
I just saw him, with a beer getting on the shuttle.
Yeah, we saw Kelsey on the wrong hole today. Didn't he? He had like an approach shot.
He was on our fairway. We were on the green, and he was on our fairway trying to hit it back to his hole.
So great. So great. Man, Mahomes had the long drive.
I'm never leaving. I just
Yeah,
decided.
Did he?
Yeah, I saw.
Mahomes had long drive so far.
I saw on social media like a 346-yard drive on one of the holes.
Yeah, Marty Fish dropped that casual. He just FaceTimed me mid-round. I was like pretty impressed by that.
I thought Marty did that.
I was like, man.
Yeah, they were FaceTiming the whole time. When you're playing the course and Mahomes is screaming your name, like it's crazy respect.
Like he's not partying. Like Marty Fish is here for business this week. Like this is
all
like a business trip.
Yes, Marty will be sleeping.
The most fun was probably with us. Like
Greg too.
The most he would let his hair down. Is that a thing to say about people? He let his hair down, I feel like, with us in this round. But like outside of this, he's like...
I enjoyed how encouraging he was of Greg. I feel like...
Was it patronizing, though?
No. There was bits of it. There was
like part trying to be funny for us. He was kind of like, that's straight when my dad hit it like 100 yards straight.
Right.
Well, he complimented my...
Right.
Yeah, but he complimented my putting, and I thought he was pretty sincere.
No, you're a good putter. Hey, look, see, as we're taping this, I'm just casually looking to my left, and I see Brett Baer of Fox News in some... How would we describe these pants, Whitty?
Yeah, they're green lucky pants with 4-leaf clovers on
Oh,
them.
God.
He's making a statement.
Really
He's a
is.
guy like... At that room, we talked back to this room. I'm like, don't need to get into politics here. Not, necessarily a big fan of Brett Baer, but I gave him a handshake. He walked up. Stugotz, it's one of those things. You walk by somebody like that, and you just stick your hand out and you shake it.
Yeah, it's just like a cordiality
Yeah,
thing.
like it just
we're all
kinda
in this. We're all in this together.
Yeah, fraternity.
I got blacked out, and the next thing I know, I'm shaking Brett Baer's hand. Like I did not see that coming.
Anyone see Dan Quayle?
No.
I saw his name on a card. That's all I saw.
Here?
Oh man.
Well, who is the most random? So we should also say
Most random?
Chris Cote has been an incredible celebrity spotter.
Listen,
since we've been here.
he goes, Mark Mulder just walked by.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, how do you know what
Mark Mulder's one of those random people really serious about golf. So he's like comes every year.
I also saw Mike sent me the odds, and Mulder's like fourth best odds to win it. So here,
there's a lot of like random celebrities.
I
that
guarantee
you're
you Jack Wagner is up there in terms of... I think he's won it like 4 or 5 times.
All right, so here's a top
You guys
5.
don't know who Jack Wagner is.
I have no clue.
Only me and your dad did.
Tony Romo plus 225, Marty Fish plus 250, Mark Mulder plus 600, Kyle Williams plus 1,000, John Smoltz plus 1,200.
All right, so it's a two-man race.
Yeah.
Come on.
Per the odds, yes.
Well, who would you take, though, outside of Marty? So you put those two aside, the favorites.
We didn't get a chance.
Where's the value?
We didn't get a chance to
I'm
do
betting
Smoltz.
Marty Fish, man.
No, I am. I'm going to bet Marty,
Yeah.
but then you have to go for a value
right.
pick. I think it's probably
I don't feel
Smoltz
like
is good.
we didn't do enough scouting today. I feel like we only kind of saw our own thing, right? Like I didn't look over like the Mahomes thing. The Mahomes group was kind of overlapping us in some respects, and I had no idea that he had 300. I did hear like a very loud roar at some point from his general direction, but I had no idea.
That might have been one of my drives. I wasn't sure. Yeah,
right.
Just a bad joke.
It was.
But back to what you were saying. Back to you complimenting me.
I'm glad we let it sit there. You thought about it for a second. You said, "Hey, you know
back
what?
to
Bad
Whitty
joke."
complimenting me. I was spotting some celebrities in that room. Like,
oh my god!
Every time, like I was just like, "Look who that is," and Woody's like, "What?"
But who was the most random of the? Brian Kelly's pretty random. Doug Peterson to me really sticks out. Like the guy's not coaching.
If you hadn't told us earlier in the week that Robbie Gould played a round of golf with you, I would have said Robbie Gould.
Yeah,
that's a random one.
Yeah.
He only played 2 or 3 holes with me.
Doug Flutie was kind of random to me.
But he's one of those ones. If you've watched,
he's an NBC guy though,
and if you've watched the guy, you always
them.
see him play. Like he plays every year. I've seen him. Where's Barkley been, by the way?
Well, he had the match up in.
Rogers was there though.
That's true.
Yeah. Are we going to talk about Justin Timberlake at that thing? Like, how can we address that?
I think we did with Kelsey this morning.
Oh, okay.
We did a bit on the show.
It was
as well.
just
he was holding court. He was hammered. I have no issue saying that he was hammered holding court, and it was fun to watch.
Yeah, he was kind of like the class clown. Like he was mocking like the MB, like whoever was like the American Century people who were hosting the event. Like he's obviously close with them, so he was the guy in the back of the room. Like, and it was funny to watch. Honestly, we were 6 feet from him. He's standing next to Aaron Rodgers, heckling the room, and like we're looking back, over laughing, like we're like,
right, yeah. And the room
laughing a little too loud.
Well, that's the thing, because like the room wasn't giving him anything.
No,
so like I felt like if I kind of peeked over, because he was behind me, if I peeked over my shoulder, made a little eye contact, and got a good laugh in, then maybe it was around the magician. Oh, we haven't talked about.
I was mortified of the
okay.
of the magician.
So let's tell the story.
Mortified. Like listen, you guys. I'll approach anyone, just about anyone. I could not approach the magician.
Why couldn't you approach the
magician? I had him on my podcast once, and
specific magician.
That magician, right? And it was probably a bad idea to have a guy who does card tricks on your podcast.
Visual art on a podcast. Trust me, he's holding up a 3 of clubs.
I could be the best magician ever on a podcast.
Yeah, well, no, this was the worst.
I just made Tony disappear.
This guy, another bad joke.
Nah, but I did. That's a good one. That's a good one.
I'm back. I was scared.
Where'd you go?
But Chris, I had him on, and so in an effort to make that episode entertaining, we had me and Stanzik hammered him right with editing, and
he didn't like it.
And so Stanzik said, "You better find that comedian," and I said, "I'm terrified of that comedian and his bad jokes." Like Whittingham saw me. There's no way I was going near him. The closest I got to him
make eye contact with him.
The closest I got to him was. I was so fascinated by Millar and how much fun he had watching that guy do card tricks that I stood behind Kevin Millar, and that's the closest.
That's how I acted like one of the people last night. I went up to famous people and stood next to them and watched the magic, and then gave them looks like this is crazy, right? I did it twice. I did it when Justin Timberlake was holding court with that guy.
Now, Stugotz, I feel like you might criticize our form in terms of like being shameless about going up to famous people to bring them onto the show.
Yeah,
we're having a little bit of a mini conversation about this. Can you give us some tips, because we were in that room last night and I didn't know what to do, just in terms of like, I don't know anyone here. You're my only in. I was actually, I don't know if you noticed this, I was following you around.
Did notice, yeah.
I was just following you around just to be like, maybe I can get some eye contact and a handshake out of somebody. But like, in a room of people that we don't know, that probably don't like to be bothered when they're having a nice time golfing.
That wasn't the setting.
What's your tactic?
If you ask me, like, so I'd give you a different answer, but some of those people, like Jay Billis was coming up and saying hello to me. Joe Buck was like, "Hey, what's up?" Which is like, I can't believe I've arrived at that place, right? Career-wise. And so like Kelsey, I have a legit friendship with, and Rogers I knew would be nice when he saw it, once he realized who it was. Like 15, 20 years ago, I'm telling you, when I first started off, it was just being like, that's it, straight shameless, did not give a shit. And I would just throw around Le Batard's name. That's the best way to do it. Just, hey, it's not like, I would just walk up to people like, Dan Le Batard wants you for 15 minutes, like on Radio Row. And they would come over because they know Dan, they like Dan, they know the name. Yeah. And so it's really leveraging Dan's relationships, is whoever your host is.
I think it's also, and I suck at this too, like it's just putting yourself out there to fail, and like you just need to be prepared for no, I don't really want to do that, and like that awkwardness of like them feeling like I didn't like this and it, like that's just, and it's really uncomfortable. So like that's the thing you just gotta get.
So like Chris, like I know Barkley's going to say yes now, right? But it's not because of me; it's because of Dan. So just knowing Dan's relationships, but Chris is right.
That is true. If you're going to go up to somebody you don't know, you got to just be like, "Hey, I'm blank with the Dan Le Batard show."
You have to throw Dan's name out as quickly as possible. So when I did it for Hank, it was the same thing. You got to throw Hank's name out as quickly as possible. I know, it's crazy. But now it's just like, I don't mind asking Aaron Rodgers to go because I know he's going to do it.
Yeah,
you know. Not so much because he's my friend. He's not. He's Dan. Him and Dan have a friendship. And so, and I know that, and Dan knows that I know that. I'm not sure Dan's comfortable that I'm on with that information, but I'm the reason he has that friendship in the first place.
What is the definition of a legit friendship? Because Stugotz just said he's legit friends with Travis Kelce, and I'm not like saying you aren't. I'm just saying like that's Like, you know, like but he does.
What is the
honestly.
basis of your legit friendship with Travis Kelce?
It started with first off, I think Kelce has like just unlimited potential to do what it is that we do. You know,
he's got charisma.
Yeah, what like Pat McAfee has pulled off.
Yeah.
Like, if McAfee, and I say this respectfully, he's amazing and he's super talented. But I mean, Kelce can get any guess in the world, man. And so I think he has a lot of potential to do this. The friendship him and my daughter they share the same trainer. So XPE Sports out of Fort Lauderdale, who train a lot of the NFL guys, especially coming out of college to the combine, and then through the draft. They share the same trainer. And so my daughter was working out with him one day, and really Rachel is responsible for this.
You know what?
She's
After hearing this,
the Stugotz is stronger than her.
Like, I kind of just thought you guys had a little text
So
thing
Rachel
of
and
come on the
Kelce had
show.
worked out a bunch of times, and then they struck up a friendship. And then I went up there one day just to see this. I'm like, my daughter's working out with Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
And she was, and then he and I started talking, and then
You thought she had a little Stugotz in her? You're like, are you really working out with Travis Kelce?
Yeah, I wasn't check
She
on
comes
her.
home, Dad, I worked out with him. And you're
it's the proudest I've ever been of.
Dad had to make sure it wasn't like a creepy relationship first, and you know.
Well, all right.
No,
thanks for bringing it there, Dad.
I get right to the point.
No, I wanted to make sure it was an actual relationship.
Right.
Yes. And then I realized it was, and
That's a good. That's a good
he and I
shout
just
by
got
you.
along.
I'm just becoming Whittingham with the way I talk. Good shout to say. I could see him being good in media after he's done.
Yeah.
And it's a heady play by you to like find those guys and then like kind of not become a mentor, but like.
So I also
Next
think,
thing you know, 10 years from now, we got
No.
Stugotz and Kelce show.
Well,
you
no,
need a producer?
It would just
No?
But no, it could be the Chris Cote and Kelce show.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's where Dan and I are at,
give
right?
him
It's like,
top
let's
billing.
find some people and try.
Kelce
I think
and
that's what Kelce likes is I'm genuine about it.
Yeah.
Like, I think he could be good at something. I have no reason to be doing it. I don't need to do this much longer, right? And so I'm just like, Kelce,
Yeah.
I think you can be good at this. I want to invest some time in you.
Yeah.
My time in you. And then I don't want to host it with him. I just want him to be good at it, you know? But someone's got to bring it out of him.
Yeah.
Maybe it's you.
Shit. This turned. Now it's my show. Kelsey and Cody.
Well, listen, he's 31, so
Yeah.
how much? He's not looking to do this anytime soon, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's still
5
having
years.
brilliant seasons,
Right.
but also like it can flip 1 second to the next in football in particular. Just
So
like
I'm
how
just trying to get him
physically
ready
brutal
for that.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think we were talking with this agent like two years ago, and Travis wasn't that into it because 29, 28. But now I guess he can kind of see the finish line. And to your point, maybe one play away from.
Are we getting two inside?
No. I think it's fine.
Would Kelsey be cool with all this?
Oh, Kelsey doesn't give it. I don't think Kelsey cares about this.
Let's
you're asking where the relationship came from, and
no,
it came from.
it's
That's where it came from. Yeah.
Let's do a bit more on the round today because I feel like a lot of people are going to want some stories and some insight
Agreed.
from the round. So, Stugotz, first off, I think all of you had first tee jitters.
Major.
Can you?
I shit my
First
pants.
couple hole jitters.
So not only did you like obviously you're playing at Lake Tahoe at this massive event, but also now friend and connect to get us here, Nick Casanova had
Shout out to Nick.
Yeah, Nick has been brilliant.
best.
Nick,
he has
if you're
helped
listening
us.
to this, I love you.
So he has set us up here. That was creepy. So he has set us up
stared
here.
into the mic and I like. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sure, it feels like it's now all worth
and
it.
he prepared written introductions for us,
Oh, that was great.
which he read out.
Yes.
That was great.
But did that help though? Get you ready to play a round of golf though, because there's people, right? The Kelce Mahomes group is teeing off near you, and now you've kind of got this feeling that this is an occasion, this is a spectacle. How did the three of you approach that?
I was nervous, man. Greg, were you nervous?
I was, but when he starts identifying me as a 9-time PFPI
funny.
champion, it's
That
like
actually cut the nerves a little bit. That helped. That
It
actually
did.
helped.
To be honest, it was the highlight of your day.
I was laughing out loud. I mean,
Your first tee shot was respectable. It wasn't
It
like
was.
embarrassing. Like it was.
but I did lose 2 balls on the first 2 holes, and after that, I thought I calmed down a little
you
bit.
did,
So
yeah.
I definitely had the jitters because this was the biggest golf tournament I've ever played in.
Obviously, the biggest golf.
I mean,
It's also the only one
well,
for
no,
all of
he's
us.
thinking of like when he plays a scramble at like a place. Like,
Right, I know.
or I think I played in another pro-am, but it wasn't of this stature.
Look at you playing another.
I mean, we
Yeah.
probably had no more than 50 people on any given hole, right? And those are the 2 party holes,
Right.
Right. So, but I was still nervous, even with 5 people there.
Oh, yeah.
I was.
There was times I was nervous mid round just because like Marty Fish is behind me giving me a read on a putt, and I'm just like, God, if
Yeah.
I don't hit this right where he said, I'm gonna just
Right.
feel like an asshole.
Yes.
Like-
yeah. Golf's fucked up.
And as
that
soon as
way,
I hit
man.
it, and he was like, "That's the good line," I'm like, "I don't care if it goes in." Marty's happy with the putt.
Yes.
like that's it.
If either a brilliant from Whittingham or Marty with a good shot, and I didn't care what the happened after that.
I kept getting backhanded compliments about like how they were like, "You're so good, but you just need good clubs."
Well, they're right.
I know, I do need better.
It's not
clubs, but it was,
backhanded
like,
compliments. They're trying to help you.
Not backhanded. I mean,
They were saying you're good at golf. Like Marty was like, "Damn, Chris is good."
Yeah.
You are.
I just wanted to bring that up, them saying that.
But you're using clubs from the 80s, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Late 90s.
Chris, you know how pissed off some of these guys would be to know that you play 5 rounds a year with those clubs
Maybe
from the 90s and you're better than them? Like Marty was saying that you one-on-one, you might be able on a given day. I think you could.
He did not hit I hit like 7 or 8 like just bad shots.
If you go off the green, that's where you.
I can't chip. Like I need to learn how to chip.
You also had like a really bad shot that resulted in a good outcome for you. You also saved your best drive for the last hole.
I had
that
a
was
few.
like
No,
that's a great
And I
feeling.
saved my worst.
I basically smoked all the drives on the back 9.
Yeah, you played good on the back 9. You loosened up a little.
Yeah.
The first 5 holes of the back 9, I was 4 under. Granted, we were playing shambles, so like a couple of those where Marty Fish had me 10 feet away for birdie.
So it's hard. Like Chris was asking my score. I said it's hard. I'm playing Marty and Chris's fucking drives the whole day.
I shot 77, but that's
but with some of their drive, right?
Oh, that's with a lot of help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to explain the rules, so basically on each hole you took.
Everyone hit off.
Everyone
of the
drove,
Everyone
and then
drove.
we placed all our balls for our second shot at the best drive.
At the best drive,
And then we would all play our ball from
and
there.
then you play your ball from there. So that's why there's variance.
So it's
in
not
the
a true
scores.
representation of
Yeah.
your golf, but it was fun, right?
It was great.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's nice to get. I mean, I don't hit 300 yards, so to be able to play Chris's drives or Marty's drives was fun for a day. You know?
But you were also angry at the fact that you didn't get to play some of your drives because you hit them well.
Well, yeah, but I just can't hit them as long as Chris and
There
Marty.
was one drive that I legitimately was like 5 yards behind him on that. It wasn't the last hole. It was
behind
because
Marty.
that one he actually hit driver. There were a couple times he didn't hit driver and I did, and I outdrove him. But
Yes.
with driver and driver, there was one time where I came within 5 yards, but he didn't hit.
Marty
it.
makes it look easy, like just the whole fucking thing. It's fairway. It's on the green.
Yeah.
It's 1 putt or 2 putt.
His
and he's
chipping
done.
is like, as someone who struggles with chipping, like watching him, like
It's funny
we're
because
just praising Marty a lot right here. I mean,
We
he
sat in
deserves
the
it, though.
we sat in the
He
media
does.
room
He's
as
a
he was
handsome
doing.
mother as well.
So good looking.
Yeah, so good looking.
He was doing his press conference, and like already, someone was asking him, "Oh, are you ready to be on the Champions Tour?" And he's like, "I'm 11 years away from being eligible from the Champions Tour."
But he knows how many years away. You heard that. He was like,
Yes.
I have, how many days is that? Like, I wish I knew the math.
But it's like
I
it's so interesting to me. Like people want him to like commodify like his golfing ability because he's so good at it. But like this is probably the only event. I mean, there's probably a celebrity circuit of some kind.
While we were playing, some lady came up to him. It was like some pitch to play in another tournament. He was like, "Yeah, you have a card or something?" I was just like, he must get this all the time.
All the time, yeah. I mean, why wouldn't he though? He's good at golf.
Marty has 4,015 days until he can join the Champions Tour. 11 years. Yeah.
Got it. Thanks.
I ate a gummy before this.
Did you really?
Yeah.
How many years do you have till the Champions League? Greg, how many years do you have till the Champions?
You mean left in general, or
Yeah, that's a better question. He coughs. Yeah, in general.
probably less than Marty Fish has until the Champions Tour?
What will happen first? Marty Fish Champions Tour.
I love how Chris needs a reason why things went awry, and he just like chucked out there. I had a gummy before this. Stugotz, give me the dispensary situation.
Oh my God! There's one on every block. Like I'm buying shit I don't need. It's just there.
Pricey too, but you just got to do it.
I'm gonna throw 170 joints out in the airport. Wait, are you guys feeling it? Because it's 6:30. I think the NBA Finals started. That's a weird thing about being on the West Coast,
Oh
man.
my
You'll just
God.
like flat out, you'll miss games because you don't
I
realize.
informed Chris Cote that the Tampa Bay Lightning were Stanley Cup champions, and he goes, "Wait, the game happened already?
It was like
The
5.
sun was out."
At like 8 o'clock. Right?
It's confusing.
Would you like that? I have a friend who swears he'll never move back to the East
Yeah.
Coast because his football starts at 10, 1, and then he's done.
I'm sure you get used to it like anything. I'm sure.
Oh,
it just becomes-
I feel like you would aggressively like it though. I don't
Yeah.
feel like it would take you a second. It's just that you're unaccustomed for a brief moment and then you go back to normal. I actually thought that I was going to be that guy where like I was going to move to the West Coast for the sports. But then once I became a soccer fan, like there are important games that start at 4:30 in the morning, and that's not for me.
Yeah.
But if you're like just into American sports,
Yeah.
like I would even dare say, like, go live in Hawaii. I once spent a NCAA tournament in Hawaii, and you just wake up to games happening. It's the greatest.
Yeah, it's awesome.
If you're a baseball fan, though, like if I needed to watch every Marlins game, like a lot of people work still at 4.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I
Who
guess
would
that's
want to
the
watch
one-
every Marlins game?
Yeah, I know. It's a bad example. Gummy.
I thought we were done. I mean, watching any baseball game of any team sounds like a sentence. The judge is up there
Wow.
going,
Wow,
you're
Greg,
sentenced to watch
you're out on baseball?
162 games this season. All 9 innings.
What just
if
happened?
not
Wait,
more.
Wait, you don't like baseball anymore? What just happened?
No, he
I like baseball, but I can't watch game after game after game after game and
Totally.
inning after inning. You know, it's just too much.
I think even when I loved baseball, I couldn't do that.
I'm
You
good
know?
for 3 or 4 innings.
Yeah.
You're terrible with all sports, though. You always like you don't sit down and watch anything,
Right.
And you'll watch a game. You'll have a game on, but you're like in the kitchen, you're in the garage.
Yeah.
You're always a man on the move.
Right. I have to be. I have an adult ADD, I think, and I just can't sit still. I can't.
Right. I understand that, though.
That's why I like golf.
All
You're
of
always
our
on the
brains,
move.
all of our brains are being broken by our phones. It's
think
just
so.
like we can't. I sometimes like will aggressively do that where it's like I'm going to sit down and watch this game and like I throw my phone like on the other couch or something like that because
So you just like, focus on a
yes,
game?
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
for once.
I'll like go in my bedroom and put the phone on the charger sometimes if I'm like, let me just get.
Yeah,
away
but
from
how
this
good
a
does
little
it feel when you don't have your phone for like a hour?
Yeah.
Feels amazing, right? And then
No,
you're right
no,
back to it.
I have the exact opposite
that's
feeling,
what
which is
you're
I'm going to
addicted
miss
to your
something.
phone, though.
Yeah, no, 100%. But it's like, what? Like, is there going to be an emergency that happened in the hour that I'd like? I sometimes wake up in the morning, particularly because like the show starts early. Like I wake up in the morning and like I expect that I forgot to post something or I missed something.
But here's the funny thing. Greg and I grew up without cell phones. If there was an emergency, we figured it out, right? It's like you'd find a way to get to the person you needed to get to,
Yep.
right?
Oh yeah.
Where did this podcast go?
I don't know.
Just there's a couple of mentions
Look
cutting it
at
up.
this background. We can't be talking about technology when you have this.
What do you want to go
background.
do?
I don't know. I want to
Stroll?
go put my feet in this water. Honestly.
Oh, it dawned on me with you guys. You guys keep telling me how cold the lake is, and it dawned on me you guys have never been around any lake other than Lake Okeechobee.
I've never been in a lake before.
What a sad lake. It really is a sad
it's
lake.
the saddest of the lakes,
Yeah, it's
right?
big.
Is it really?
But on the
That's
map,
sad.
it's so like in the middle of Florida. You see that thing.
Yeah.
Like, do you even see Lake Tahoe on like a? The way you look when you look at a Florida map, like from the far, like you see that circle,
Right.
like that hole in there.
Yes.
Where else in the country do you get that?
Well, the Great Lakes.
Yeah, Michigan.
Do they show? Oh yeah, the
Superior.
Michigan one.
I think
yeah,
Lake
right.
George you get it too, or maybe Lake. No.
I don't. I mean, maybe I'm just a biased Florida person.
Definitely Lake Michigan.
Like right here, I'm scrolling through it. I see Okeechobee. I'm scrolling over here. Okay, Salt Lake. Well, that's in Salt Lake City. I don't even see.
No, you wouldn't recognize Lake Tahoe on a map.
Really?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look at this thing.
But also,
I don't care how much.
It's heavenly.
Maybe Okeechobee's bigger. Obviously,
But also,
that's why. But like,
also,
I don't care.
No, but it's also
I can see to
the
the other
Everglades.
side of Lake Tahoe. Like,
Let's go to Lake Okeechobee next week and play golf. And
Chris,
then,
there are no
and then do like
there are
compare
no
and
alligators
contrast.
in this lake. I mean, that's the difference. I mean, so Lake George, Lake Winnipesaukee, I think Lake Tahoe, like those, and then Lake Michigan are like the party lakes. You know?
Ooh.
Yeah.
well, this is probably the
I'm
party
a big
lake,
lake
is it
guy.
not?
What's another sad lake? I feel like lake.
Not a lot of them.
What are the Finger Lakes? What are those? Like Ohio, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron. Is that what it is?
Yeah, Huron. Yeah,
I feel like that's a
Superior.
really sad lake.
Erie.
Superior should not be sad, but I feel like Huron is.
Yeah.
No one ever talks about that lake.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely the worst of the 5 Great Lakes.
Forgotten Lake.
I got a good idea. Speaking of lakes, Lake and Bake.
Should we go on the boat and take calls?
Yes.
Lake, bake, and take.
Another random thing that happened on last week's show, or whenever, time's weird when you're in a podcast. Stan Van Gundy said we should do a show from his boat. If that needs to happen.
From his,
I texted
from
Dan.
his
I don't
pontoon,
often text.
right?
Pontoon boat. Yeah.
I don't often
Timberlake.
text Dan things with exclamation points. Like I was like, Dan, we're doing this, and he said yes.
And I think we have to have Jim Caldwell on.
Yes.
Stan's best friend. Apparently, we didn't know that.
Odd friendship between Jim Caldwell and Stan.
It needs to come out. Like we need to get that We need to get that out on the radio. But yes, a pontoon
I just want to
boat.
see what Stan wears on a pontoon boat. Like, he obviously just got a shirt and a bathing suit on, but I just want to see the combo. What kind of shoes is he wearing, you think?
None.
You think thong sandals?
No, bare
I don't see
feet.
him as a thong sandal guy, as a slide.
No, I see him as a sandals and socks guy.
Really?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I got bare feet all the way.
I got bare feet for Stan.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm all in on bare feet.
But what shoes? He's wearing shoes to the boat, though. Like, what? I'm with you. He might take his shoes off at one point, but like, what?
I
shoes
would say
is he
like a
wearing?
nice pair of flip flops or
Or maybe like boat shoes, like
deck
my
shoes?
dad wears.
Yeah, deck shoes right here.
maybe.
Are,
yeah,
the-
I
are
could see
these
Stan
are
wearing
these
those.
the
Those are
legendary boat
ones.
shoes?
These
You
are.
will not smell
I
those.
call them deck shoes, but yeah, you can call them boat shoes.
By the way, Stugotz, you changed shoes in the middle of the media room, and that section of the room was unpleasant
noticed?
to be in.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my god!
Sorry about that.
You also shoved them in your bag.
I
your
did.
dirty golf shoes.
Not a good idea. I should probably apologize to the Currys.
He cleared that room.
They were up on the podium.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Who's going to smell Greg's shoe?
definitely on next year's Grid of Death. Smelling the boat
I've cut that
shoes.
toe. I'm not smelling that shoe, man.
One of the underrated things about the golf today was
How squeaky this table is.
why do you guys keep pushing it? What the hell?
Looking for a flight.
Gummy.
But why does your computer fall like that?
Broken.
Jesus God.
Anyways, the golf. You're resting your knee on it. It could be you.
That's a good point. So I feel like the underrated thing about the golf today was like at every turn, you would think that like 17, which is kind of like the famous hole here, you're playing towards the lake, mountains in the background. That's clearly the best view on the course. But at every turn,
Yes.
there's like something different to look at. Like
Yes.
they built this course flawlessly to accentuate every nice bit of Lake Tahoe.
amazing.
The
Where it's like
mountains.
mountains there, trees there, lake there.
Where else do you get this combination? I mean, water and the
Augusta
mountains
feel
too.
to it.
It's
Some
just
holes,
like,
well, not the
man.
water holes because Augusta, but some of these holes had like a Pinehurst.
The pine trees,
Yeah,
yes.
pine trees.
yes.
A Pinehurst, like 2, which is U.S. Open, the legendary Payne Stewart course, right?
Yeah.
And or Augusta.
Oh.
But for me, my favorite hole, and I told you this before we started, was the 9th hole. So that was our 18th hole today.
Okay.
The finishing hole, the 9th
Oh,
hole.
yeah.
Yeah, you hit that shot
Yeah.
like it's, you know.
Man,
it's,
and like that has the best
it's an elevated
beach.
tee box, and
Yeah.
so you're hitting down that slope. It it just
Yeah.
flows right. And you're right on the. I don't know. The green's how far from the water and the beach? 10 yards, maybe.
Yeah, close.
First
yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Less than an Alex Smith completion.
Alex.
Hold on. Speaking of Alex
I'm
Smith,
glad I
dear
brought him up.
God, in that room, I mean, he was I don't know, maybe just me, but he was the best looking guy in the room. That's with Justin Timberlake. That's with Aaron Rodgers. With all those guys.
100% agree.
Like he was just like incredible.
Anyone
Although-
else?
Well, it was funny because it's a weird thing where we've objectified the males
Oh,
here, but like Chris today was like trying to find flaws in Alex Smith's appearance. I'm like, what are you doing, man? Like he's
I just know. See, we were playing the game. I was at least guy who was like that impressed you with their good looks. I always thought of Alex Smith as someone who was good looking. So I was pushing back on. Wow, I'm surprised by this. Rob Riggle. I believe you pointed out, Tony.
Sneaky good looking?
That's a guy who I just always knew, Rob Riggle, actor, but I saw him yesterday. He's in good shape.
Surprising.
The beard was looking nice. Wow. It was kind of like I don't care, but I do. It was just like I was impressed with him.
For me, it was Tony.
Yeah. What'd you do?
Yeah, you want to rephrase that?
There's been a nice gentleman sitting behind us for this entire. How have you experienced this? What we've done the last hour?
Enjoyed your guys' first-person account.
Thank you. Thank you. I never thought.
Are we going to be invited back? Are you important?
I was just writing about Charles Barkley's golf swing. So
Oh, okay.
Okay, good.
That'll take
We're
a
good.
book.
We're
Run this
good.
whole thing. It's like there was a movie.
You don't
scene.
have any say as to whether we come back or not, do you? All right.
Okay.
Excellent.
it's
We're good.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
People say that Charles Barkley's golf swing is fixed now. Is that
Yeah,
is that what you're writing
He
about?
doesn't do the hitch anymore, right?
yeah, there was a moment on the range today where he was hitting missiles. Like the ball jumps off his club face. Wow. I mean, he's 6'6", so he's got natural speed.
We got to put the bet in for top 70.
Top 70, right?
Yeah.
It's good value, actually. I'm finishing in top 70. I'm going to take that. Barkley and Fish.
Yeah.
Those are my
Yeah,
two
there
bets. this
are
weekend.
some people there that are kind of veterans that like didn't buy the hype that Charles Barkley has fixed his swing. So like, smash the under there. Right. But I feel like the over might be.
I feel like this guy's got thoughts on it too. What do you think? Charles Barkley, top 70?
Oh, there we go.
No.
having random people in the room that nobody knows And
I could tell Woody didn't like me for doing that.
And not even having him on mic. It's not exactly great pod.
The worst.
I could feel the energy of Woody being like, "What's going on?"
What you felt was Mike Ryan.
No, but I think it's a funny. The first one, that one failed. Bringing in the guy that's been listening the whole time.
Let's not take him out though. He's out of the room now, but it's not his fault.
Right? No, I shouldn't have done it. This one was a good one.
It worked.
Getting the assessment of the
I
guy
cranked
who's
up
been.
his level a little bit. It was fine.
Yeah.
I'm so obsessed with audio.
Gummies.
What?
Moderna.
Champagne on 6.
Oh Jesus! And that bottle in that tree.
You gotta add champagne now to your list of things that you do as excuses. Because you said that for about 40 straight minutes after every bad
Maybe
shot.
slam a glass. I mean, all of a sudden I was like feeling a little tipsy. I don't like champagne.
You don't like champagne?
No, I don't love champagne.
Really? Wow.
Oh, you like champagne?
I do. Yeah.
Have you met an alcohol you don't like?
Right.
I love Moet. Can I say a name brand?
Sure. But he wants to know if you've met any alcohol that you don't
Is
like.
there any kind of alcohol that you don't like?
Talking to the mic.
I'm not a huge tequila guy, and I know a lot
you'll
of people
drink
like
it if
tequila.
you-
I'm not a huge rum fan.
Is there something you'll flat say no to? Like, nope, not having that.
I'm game for anything.
Exactly. Is there a flat no for you on something? Like a Jägermeister? I hate Jägermeister.
I don't like Jägermeister, but if there's like a group doing something,
Jaeger
I
was
can
better
suck
than I
down
thought.
anything.
I thought I was going to hate Jaeger,
Phrasing.
like despise it. And it was actually not
gummy.
terrible.
Very mentholy, right?
Yeah.
What happened, Chris?
He just keeps saying gummy over and over again.
No, it was deeper than that.
Yeah, I had a phrasing thing.
You want to tell us about it?
Can we stop?
Do you feel like there's a lot of eyes on you?
I don't even want to refer to the word combination you did on the course today. Where
Oh yeah.
on
What was
la-
the duck? Some kind of
on,
duck?
on the lake.
No, we said it was fake ducks.
Yeah, are those fake or real ducks?
Fucks.
I wonder what you did with it.
Yeah, use your imagination.
That was a good one. Sometimes they just hit. Sometimes I'm forcing them. Definitely doing it too much. It's too look at me. It's like a conversation's
are we
happening.
deconstructing the
Yeah,
bit now?
yeah.
Okay.
I want to hear you talk yourself through this. Go ahead.
It's just
Look at me.
sometimes they are perfect, and sometimes I force them in, and it's like, oh, let's it's too me being too like, hey, let me involve myself in this conversation that doesn't involve me.
I always find them funny.
Thank you.
They've actually, like, just as you make fun of me for breaking your brain by saying good shout and fair play.
You do it on your own now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I'm doing word combos all the time.
I find myself doing them as well.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm glad you introduced me to this game.
Did I create that? No, right?
Well, definitely on the show.
Yeah, well, that,
But
obviously.
are you saying like in broader
But
society?
in terms of like
Probably,
just
yeah.
people, I created it.
It's yours.
Yeah.
Why don't you ask the guy who's writing the Barkley
Have you
piece
ever
if
heard
he-
people combine words before? Like,
Barkley piece, beast.
Yeah. Whose idea was it this time? No,
That's your idea.
Sorry, Mike.
Holy shit! There was an earthquake.
like 15 seconds. Just the entire room was shaking.
I felt it. I was scared. I'm freaking out right now. I don't know what to
What
do.
do we
I feel
do
like this
now?
building's gonna come. Well, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go lake and lake and bake.
you're saying.
I'm gonna lake and bake.
Oh, probably talking.
The room was shaking. We heard the plates shake in the other room, and we kind of just looked at each other like, "What's happening right now?" A plate fell.
plate fell? Yeah.
Greg was screaming expletives.
Well, it's because Greg, that's your first ever earthquake, right?
Yeah, that's my first career earthquake. I wasn't even sure what it was at first.
Well, like because we felt like the ground shaking. It like, and
Yeah.
you'll experience them every now and again. Maybe like someone stomps really forcefully or
Right.
whatever. But like for the whole thing to be
A
going,
light fixture came out of the roof. Like,
Really?
Yeah, that light fixture right up there is.
vacant. Oh my god.
I'm totally not standing under a light fixture right now.
Yeah. Well, we're under a giant chandelier right now.
Reasons why I live in South Florida. No earthquakes.
Well,
Hurricanes.
Hurricanes. Yeah.
Yeah, but still.
Is there a place in the country without extreme weather of any kind?
Amin says it's Phoenix.
Phoenix?
The Phoenix is the only place that has zero natural disasters.
Yeah, but it's extremely hot.
Yeah. Do they? Is that a natural disaster though? A sandstorm?
Until 5 minutes ago, I would have said Lake Tahoe.
Here we are.
I'm Twitter searching earthquake just to see. Yeah, San Francisco Chronicle. Did you feel that earthquake?
Yeah. How fast are they? Jesus.
Fresno felt an earth. I think we just got an aftershock.
Everybody was still walking around like if nothing happened. Though,
Okay,
which
but
was
so
interesting.
like it was felt in. How far are we from San Francisco?
a couple hours.
Yeah. So Fresno was saying they felt an earthquake. Sacramento was felt like they had an earthquake. Goodness me. See?
Well, boys, we survived an earthquake.
Well, add that to the list.
Wow.
I can't believe Chris is just out there willy-nilly like nothing happened.
That can't be true.
No, but he's also like, we're on like carpet, right? We're on like kind of we're inside.
wood.
We're in a structure.
Yeah.
I don't know if that structure would feel an earthquake, but
technically, wouldn't everything feel an earthquake because we're on the
good
earth?
point. Well, good pod.
Good pod. Good prayer.
The first question I have, and it's a surprising one to ask given that Stugotz at 6 a.m. Pacific time has gotten into his seat and is ready to go, even though he looks a bit haggard, and there have been accusations that he was cheating on the golf course yesterday.
Duh.
Where is Amin? Is Amin coming in? I never know with Amin in South Florida whether he's gotten into one of those nights where things have gone a little bit crazy. So I want to talk some about the finals last night, even though the analysis can just be, hey, when Phoenix makes that many threes at that percentage, nobody's going to beat them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he'll echo you there. This is, normally we'd be concerned that Amin's late because he was irresponsible, but on Fridays, when we don't normally put out a show, Amin does a very early shift for SiriusXM on their NBA channel. He is doing that, so he'll be here in roughly an hour.
He's been great this week. He has contributed mightily, and if you want to check out Cinephobe, you should do that because he and Zach Harper are doing some good comedy over there that is loosely based around the movies.
Dan, can't that also be a combination of Phoenix hitting those threes and Holiday and Middleton are just inconsistent? They're just too inconsistent. It drives you crazy sometimes.
They were one of the best three-point shooting teams during the season. They, I believe, have been the worst three-point shooting team to advance during the postseason. They have not shot very well. And Drew Holiday, the reason that I kept asking you guys again and again after that first round series, given that 6 months earlier we had seen what the Heat did to Milwaukee, Drew Holiday is a difference maker. Drew Holiday helps them play a different way. Drew Holiday does not explain to me the gulf of difference between what happened between the Miami Heat and the Bucks last year and what ended up happening this year. But Mike, we've lost Mike. He's not interested in these finals at all. He has given up on what happened. Is it just everyone's broken?
I think so. It seems like such a dilution of the product for me. Easy for a Heat fan to check out on the NBA Finals after being swept in the first round.
For those of you, incidentally, who are pointing out that this show didn't have any problems with last year's playoff run, I would make the argument that basketball was beautiful.
Oh, dude, you're so bang on that. What Donovan Mitchell and Jamal Murray were doing, it was the height of the sport. All the sight lines were perfect. You saw a totally antiseptic environment where players were just locked in on the game with no distractions.
Rested.
It was beautiful to watch. The basketball inside of that bubble was a pleasure to watch. I'm not enjoying these playoffs. There have been so many injuries. I know it sounds like an echo chamber on the national sports scene, but I'm just not feeling it. And when you have an NBA Finals of two teams that you didn't really, well, Milwaukee kind of expected could be there. Phoenix, maybe not so much. It feels like an NBA 2K Finals after a league simulation as opposed to what really happens in the sport. And I don't have relationships with any of these players. It's easy when you got LeBron James in there. It's easy when you got Kevin Durant in there. I know we're trying to make new stars, but it's just not for me.
Mike, isn't that some of that's on us, right? Because we're just not interested in the teams. Like Phoenix has been good the entire season. When everyone was healthy during the regular season, Phoenix was still playing great basketball, and we've been waiting for the Bucks to get there for a couple of years now. Giannis is finally here.
My investment isn't on Chris Paul or any of the players. It's really I root for Monty Williams and his story. I've been a huge Monty Williams fan, and you can check this Twitter. Search at Michael Ryan Ruiz and Monty.
What a boring.
Go for it.
What a boring.
I've been on this guy.
Who wants to check that?
I've been on this guy for a decade, and I'm so happy for his success. Shame on people like you, Stugotz, and this Northeast media gassing up Tom Thibodeau as if he accomplished any goddamn thing in favor of Monty Williams. That dude deserves everything in this world, and I'm so happy for him.
The sound of him trying to get DeAndre Ayton to put his head up. I don't know if you saw this. It's so rare for that wired for sound to be anything. One of the great scams in sports that we have these business relationships with the teams and the illusion of access. Let's go wired for sound, and we're not going to air anything other than, come on, let's go. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about.
I love that stuff.
Monty Williams was great last night, getting DeAndre Ayton to physically put his head up and told him it was what a coach is supposed to be at this point, Stugotz, because as you get these guys in that league who don't have any experience coaching now, whether it's Steve Nash or Steve Kerr or Chauncey Billups, is there a connection point? Because someone respects you where you can manage and lead and you can get some other guy to do X's and O's, Stugotz. You can get some lifetime bench coach to help you with whatever the strategies are in game and rotations and all that stuff. But can you connect with today's player? When DeAndre Ayton is down, can you summon his respect enough to get him to physically lift his head up and look you in the eye when you're yelling at him, and you're yelling at him a positive encouragement that is reprimand, but is reaching a guy when he's down and saying, you know why you're down? You're down because of the standard you've set for yourself. It's a high standard. It's a great standard. Go reach it. Go bleeping reach it right now and do it through force. Now, he didn't, but it was still... he didn't have anything to do.
Sounds good, though.
He didn't have anything to do. He wasn't making any of those threes.
I don't want to take anything away from the Phoenix Suns. I've seen. I was watching it. I opted for Hereditary instead of the NBA Finals, but I was watching it on the second TV, and the ball movement was beautiful. And you're seeing like real adjustments being made on the fly that are quantifiable within the game, and you can even notice it if the TV is on mute. I just don't have a connection point to any of these people. This is the start of me having a connection point for the likes of Devin Booker, I guess. But look, the Phoenix Suns were down 2-1 and Anthony Davis got hurt to the Los Angeles Lakers. I don't necessarily think this is really representative of this season. I think when we look back on it, this is a season that the experts should say maybe that one should have the asterisk, not the bubble one.
I will say, I think what Mike is saying is somewhat fair. It's actually very fair, because for the first time, I'm not trying to get home on time to be glued to a television to watch the NBA Finals. I don't care enough about the organizations, and I thought I would care about Giannis once he got there, but I just don't care about Phoenix. I really don't care about that team.
Well, because Chris Paul is going to stick it in you.
Yeah, he is.
I think the Chris Paul story is actually fairly incredible, given the couple of teams now that he's gone to and turned around. You look at Oklahoma City; they're almost tanking on purpose and made the playoffs by accident, and now taking a Phoenix team to the NBA Finals. I know they probably would have made it there under normal circumstances, but I also think we're kind of underrating. Yeah, it came in a double-digit defeat, but I thought that Giannis was going to miss a year of basketball, and a week later he's on 42, 12, and 4. That's incredible.
Yes, and it doesn't matter because they're down 2-0, and we will resume the conversation if at the end of the next game, for some reason, it's Middleton taking the shots. We will discredit his excellence from every angle, even though it's like watching Shaquille O'Neal it's the closest thing around the rim that you've seen since Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh, I appreciated the comp that Amin made yesterday, that this is like Shaq and Kobe, the Middleton Giannis thing, and Giannis is playing the role of Shaq, a dominant player inside that's hugely efficient, but is a liability at the free throw line, and so you need someone on the perimeter to close games. Now, I think what you're seeing with Jrue Holiday and Chris Middleton is those players are going to do that shit. They're going to fall back down to earth. Middleton will hit 7 straight in your face in the fourth quarter on perfect defense. Have you seen Devin Booker's defensive numbers this NBA Finals? He's with the elite defenders in NBA history in the finals right now. Devin Booker, he's been more willing later in his career than he was certainly earlier on, but he is not that kind of defender. This is just a reversion back to the mean, and they'll probably ascend when they get home.
You saw something, too, and we'll leave this alone after this because we've got some sound from Tahoe to play for you, but Jay Crowder misses that bubble. Jay Crowder, I know he was plus 19 in game one as he was going whatever it was, 0 for 8 or 0 for 9, but I don't think that there was anything more startling in that bubble than us discovering at the same time, wait a minute, Jay Crowder is a consistent shooter? Jay Crowder is someone who lets go of the ball and you now expect it to go in?
I love that Stugotz is presently frozen on his sausage fingers right now because he
was much better in the bubble.
Stugotz, you need to go.
That stinks.
Yeah, Stugotz, you need to go wherever Chris Whittingham is because that's a much better Wi-Fi. So we'll get back to Stugotz's basketball takes in a moment. But you guys experience an earthquake, and plenty more basketball discussion with Tom Haberstroh and Amin Elhassan. You guys experience an earthquake, and as a Floridian my entire life, thank God I've never had to deal with the earth shaking. How did you guys handle all of that, Chris?
I mean, it was crazy, right? Because you hear all the time about what an earthquake feels like, but until you're in it, I mean, we're like a bunch of South Florida guys. We were sat at a table. We're recording what will be today's local hour, and we all just kind of looked at each other and went, "Is that an earthquake? I think that's an earthquake. That's an earthquake." And then we started furiously Googling to figure out what this was, where the earthquake was. It was a 5.9 somewhere on the coast of, or the border of Nevada. And all of a sudden, it's like, holy crap, we're in an earthquake.
Is anyone else worried? I know that yesterday's post-game show was alarming and apocalyptic as Adam McKay talked about horrible things happening in climate change. But when you see video from New York of brown water filling up the subway because there's all sorts of flooding, and it's just a little piddly storm compared to the storms that are headed our way earlier than they ever have been and scarier and in greater numbers than they ever have been as a mud volcano goes off in the Caspian Sea and the Pacific is set on fire by an oil company, $119 billion in debt already before that fire.
If you poke around on the ties to that pipeline, though, you can understand why no one was in a huge rush to fix that thing. Just saying, do a Google search.
Good God, though. We tried to put some Roaring Twenties music on it yesterday. McKay suggested that we go forward with a laugh track and porny music if we have any rights to that. How can you discuss this stuff in a way that isn't super alarmist? And I asked the question again, and I know that there are earthquakes out there all the time, and it's just an entry point here or an entry point here for me to talk about the greater concerns of the things happening to the environment here. As I don't know, I saw something the other day that just this horrible smell because millions of fish had just been baked on a shoreline that had receded, and the sun was so hot that it was creating all sorts of chaos. What does it have to be to get our attention in a way that's real? I'm asking you seriously. I'm asking the audience this seriously to really worry about the future of your children. Billy, you got to be terrified. You got to be terrified by everything.
Not at all. I'm sorry, environmentalists. I couldn't give less of a shit. What am I going to do about an oil spill? What am I going to do about these dead fish in the Caspian Sea? I'm not going out there throwing straws into the ocean, but also, like, I have things that I can actually control to be worried about in my life, okay?
It's a mud volcano in the Caspian Sea.
Okay, what am I going to do about a mud volcano? Go out there and, like, spray with a hose and put it out? Or
It's all right.
There's nothing I can do. This is just a bit alarmist by this McKay guy.
Billy,
How about make a funny movie, McKay? Let's get back into the meat and potatoes. Make a funny movie. I know you won an Oscar, but enough. Enough of these little voices. Just make a funny movie, okay?
I think the point that McKay was trying to get to is, yeah, sometimes it's a mud volcano in the Caspian Sea, and then sometimes it's going to be 5 straight Category 5s headed straight towards South Florida.
What am I going to do, stand on the beach and put my hand out and say stop? I can't stop a Category 5. What am I going to do about that? What can I do?
Drink from a paper straw.
I don't think a plastic straw created a Category 5 hurricane. I'm just going to say.
It's a contribution.
You can worry.
But what is worrying going to do, Dan? Honestly, what is me worrying going to do? I worry about enough things. McKay, listen, McKay, if you can hear me, worry about real problems that you can control, okay? And I don't want to make it seem like I'm denying that this is an issue. I'm not saying it's not an issue. I'm saying Billy Gill can't do anything about this. So why am I going to go out there sounding the alarms, telling everybody the British are coming, and freaking everybody out? McKay. This guy.
Because
I have a real problem.
People vote and put their voice on something, it can possibly help. You've got a child now, Billy.
I do have a child, but I'll also tell you this. I've never gone to the ballot box and said, what does Adam McKay think I should do with my vote? This isn't about him. Also, I just celebrity endorsements and all of this stuff. Like, I've never once said, "Who does Kanye West think I should vote for today?"
And why would you?
I just think celebrities get over yourselves with these endorsements. All right.
Put it on the poll, Guillermo, at Le Batard Show. Celebrities, get over yourself with these endorsements, yes or no?
Do you think it's a tad dismissive from Billy? Well, maybe more than a tad. But I am identifying with some of what Billy says, because when you're talking about the temperature and climate change affects us, like, it's all like, man, it feels like it's getting hotter. It's because it is. Is the toothpaste out of the tube already? Like, shouldn't the political platform be like, well, shit, we done messed up. Well, I'm going to build seawalls.
Yeah, we can do things to fix it, but also, let's look in the mirror, okay? I'm only 30 years old. There's only certain things that I've done to contribute to this. Now, I can change this for my children, but also, old people, I'm looking at you, boomers.
You did this to me.
Yeah, you did this to me. Yeah.
You did this. I think we should refocus our energy on, like, we're not going to save the environment.
Yeah.
Environment, like, we shit the bed on that one. Hand up, mea culpa, my bad. All right, now let's get some solutions here.
Yeah.
Okay, Elon Musk, stop putting people on the moon. Let's make sure my house doesn't go underwater in the next 5 years.
That's a great point by Mike. Let's come with some solutions, not so much with the problems. Okay, we can agree. This is a problem, correct? Now, how do we solve it?
We can't agree on that.
We can't agree.
Well, but
on
let's say in this scenario we agree this is a problem.
If we did agree, though, then the problem, we'd be working toward solving it. If there were agreement on that.
Wait a second. Do we agree, though? Do we agree that taking care of planet Earth is more important than a race to space? Like, who the hell cares? I'm with Mike on this.
Maybe we need to do both at the same time if we've just kind of given up on Earth, right? We need to figure out how do we get out of here.
Bezos is thinking about life being like we have given up.
Bezos is thinking about getting himself on the moon. Let's be real.
So is Branson.
And they both are.
They're not humanitarians, guys. I hate to break it to you.
Branson goes up 9 days earlier.
Dan, how do you think this is going to work out for the billionaire space race? Because historically speaking, when we look back on space race history, trying to beat the other person to the moon hasn't exactly worked out.
This is what I want to do today as these guys are in Tahoe talking about space and climate change. I'm going to get accused of sermonizing, even though this has been a week that has been popular for us. All of a sudden, people don't mind us talking so much about ESPN. So is there anything else, Mike, that needs to be said on that subject before I move to some of this sound that we have from Tahoe?
On the Rachel Nichols, Maria Taylor thing, or just the general culture at ESPN that leaks stuff?
I thought and think, and I'll leave it at that for today, when you call it the Rachel Nichols, Maria Taylor stuff, it is one of the things that has been so deeply frustrating about watching what has happened in the week since that New York Times story, that it's become about those two women when I don't care about that part of it. That part of it is a silly thing that allows us to argue and be catty because we like talking about Tabitha Brown and Wendy Williams and doing the soap opera thing that we end up doing. But I'm looking at this and I'm like, this is so not about these two women. This is so much larger than that, and the conversation just gets dragged down. Stugotz, the thing I get frustrated by is that the conversation just gets dragged down into this space that it becomes, is this racist or is she racist? What kind of racist is this? Is this degrees of racism? And it becomes a conversation about that stuff as opposed to the larger stuff here that is a legitimate problem now with the worldwide leader in sports, where the minorities there don't feel fought for after that summer, Stugotz. They don't feel like they're in a position to be led by the power toward power. And the macro issue is so much more interesting to me than the micro one.
Yeah, but you want people to be interested in the same things and the same elements of the story that you're interested in. But you're in the business, Dan. And so for a lot of people, it is Maria and Rachel. And because they don't want to get, too bogged down in the minutia, into the details of the story. But you're right. There are far more fascinating parts of this story, and it's a very layered story about ESPN, about a corporation, and about a lot of minorities not feeling good about their place at that organization while they were there. But people, they want to make it about Marie and Rachel because that's easier for them, Dan. It's an easier conversation.
And I understand why it's popular. I'm just saying it's an empty conversation that isn't something that goes anywhere toward change. I mentioned this to Amin yesterday. No matter how impassioned his defense is, people take their sides on this stuff, and it becomes about, are you on the side of black people or white people? Are you on the side of men or women? Is Amin caping up for the white lady, rescuing her, and therefore are all his other points invalid? As we discuss the specifics of this, the part that's frustrating to me is because I'm looking at Amin and I'm saying, you're not actually helping Rachel Nichols there. You're trying to, but because of all this other garbage around it, you're not changing people's minds because they're still stuck on the little soap opera elements of this, and you're not looking at the larger problem, Stugotz, the larger issue, which is the more important issue. Not, was it racist? Is it racist? How terrible was it? Do black voices and minority voices at ESPN feel like they're being led by power that looks and sounds like them and listens to them? As Jamel Hill says, you want black faces, but you don't want black voices. After everything that happened last year in America, this has been festering for a year at ESPN, and in the middle of it, we got ejected.
You need connection points. That's why the salacious details of making it a Maria Taylor, Rachel Nichols thing is fun to talk about, because the real people that have something to do with this, they're faceless to the people at large. And I'll put a bow on this entire thing. You were saying that, well, we can't agree that the world is getting warmer, but we can agree that, A, that video from that New York subway is disgusting. Someone should get around to doing something about that, because while we don't know it's getting warmer, we certainly know and cannot deny that that person is trudging through what is
it's gross,
the grossest thing, I think, on this planet, a flooded New York subway. So we should, basically my point is we should build walls, man. Seawalls.
Put it on the poll. How was that water so brown? How was that subway water so goddamn brown?
Also, how did the train go through that?
If you see off in the distance, there's a dip in the subway, so all the water is pooling in that one thing, because I do see the train. I'm like, is this train just going through the water? Is it amphibious? But no, it's just a dip.
How does that woman feel? If you did not see some of this video, somebody down there gave the very helpful utility tool of, here's a trash bag, put it around your legs, go ahead and make your way through that brown water in your pants.
My whole thing is there nowhere else you could go? Is there not another stop? I know it's raining outside, but you're not going to get more wet than you just got. We can't walk a block.
Is there something you can give her other than a trash bag? I mean,
look at us playing the result on the flooding, the apocalyptic flooding of brown water in this, as if we have so much experience with a subway system down here. I don't know. I just saw that somebody was prepared with garbage bags, and people were taking the option of garbage bags, and I was looking and saying, unless I'm drowning, I'm not going through that water. I would never go through that water. I believe there are rodents as big as Stugotz in that water, and they all work on Wall Street.
Miami gets a lot of shit for sinking and probably being underwater in a couple of years, but New York, look, at least Miami doesn't have an infrastructure that was built around the Revolutionary period. Like, New York's in deep shit.
New York literally is in deep shit. But Mike, I'm in a place where my wife and daughter called me because they were on the road when the earthquake took place yesterday, and they were freaking out. Like, I'm telling you, and I read all these stories, like there's going to be an earthquake in the next 10 years. It's just going to wipe out Northern California. It is crazy, man.
Stugotz, didn't you read that actually, to pull a Chris Cote, earthquakes are a good thing sometimes? Like, Stugotz, by the way, all of a sudden became an earthquake expert yesterday. He read like 10 articles. I've never seen him read more in his life. Fear-based reading. And he learned that earthquakes actually relieve some of the pressure in the ground.
I appreciate you bringing this to my attention, because now I want Chris Cote to explain to me fault lines.
Come again?
I want you to explain to me why earthquakes are a good thing.
They're not a good thing. Look, we had something happen last week where someone was saying to me that I was going to go to that. What was the thing that happened? I don't know. It's early out here.
Holy you were bad there.
Good job, Chris.
What
Yeah, I
happened?
was.
Chris?
Tectonic plates.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of something, and it's not working right now. And you guys are seeing that happen in real time.
Listen, I experienced that. Like the first day out there, man. Like that time will throw your shit off. It's like 5.
The sun is out.
Hold
Kansas
on.
over there?
Hold on. I love the 2 sentences together of his inner monologue there. I'm just trying to think of something, followed by, it's not working. Like someone banging on a vending machine trying to get chips that are stuck. I'm trying to think of something, and then just the panic sweeps over him. Why is it not working? It's like
It was the Rachel Nichols thing. Somebody tweeted
back.
me, "Was this good for Rachel Nichols?" And I was like, "Nope, I'm going to sit this one out." And that's what I was trying to think of. There it is, folks.
Good job, Chris.
I still don't understand how earthquakes are a good thing.
They're not. Who said, Woody said that? I didn't say earthquakes are a good thing.
Billy is in the background pantomiming the starting and failing of a lawnmower, where Chris is trying to get his mind to work, and it's.
I like the vending machine one better. That's what I felt like. I was rattling shit around.
Are you okay?
It's really beautiful out here, man. I don't want to leave. I'm sad, honestly. I'm sad that yesterday is over. That's what I'm sad about.
What's going on?
We're all sad. Yeah.
What's going on with you, Chris?
That's funny, actually, that this happened after the local hour that just happened and what I revealed in the local hour.
Yeah, in the middle of us talking yesterday, we had a similar moment yesterday while Chris was just going on about something and unable to finish the thought, and he just goes, "I had a gummy an hour ago." I was like, "Oh, interesting."
Okay, well that might explain some things.
That's not this morning. I wish I could say that. I was like, this morning is a late night of blackjack with me and Whitty. That's what's happening this morning.
In the sad casino?
Yeah,
no,
we don't want to name.
It was less sad.
We don't want to name what casino we were at. We were at a lot of casinos yesterday. You know, we don't want to say which casino we were at, but we have some stories.
Let me explain to you and the audience what happened there, because it is a glimpse into your future as you wander around the course with your coughing, hacking father. That right there, Chris, is where and how you become your father. You have become, you are in your 30s, you have had a child, and you are headed, now imagine 30 years from now. Tell me we don't do that every Tuesday with your father, where it's some version of, I was trying to think of something, it's not working.
Can we do the last 5 minutes over?
No.
Can we just start over? Let's re-pick up. Mike, set it up. Throw it to me on Earthquakes again.
You're like 10 gummies away from being your dad. Dan, I am telling you, these cannabis stores, I mean, there's one on every goddamn block. It is a dangerous game, man.
You know what? I'm on Chris's side here, Chris Cote's side, because we threw him under the bus. Chris Whittingham used a reference according to Chris Cote. So Chris Cote did not actually say.
Right. And then Mike went to me on Earthquakes, and I hadn't actually said that.
True.
That's why I was a little thrown off.
What happened is that Whittingham said of Stugotz, we don't need to keep deconstructing this, but his fear made him read more than he's ever read, and he found out things about earthquakes that he did not know. But I don't believe that's what happened to Chris Cote there. I believe what happened is that Chris Cote was totally ill-prepared, did not think we were coming to him because the conversation had boxed him out, and next thing you know, Chris Cote is being asked stuff. You weren't even looking at us. You were looking at your computer. Can you tell me, Chris Whittingham, as you sit next to him, what is on his computer? Because he was doing something else. He wasn't listening to the conversation here, and he got trapped by earthquakes and fault lines.
In Chris's defense, he was editing this morning's local hour, so he has been in and out. That's a very difficult thing from an auditory perspective, to go from listening to one thing to another. You're switching cans as well, so I'll actually stick up for Chris. That being said, I still immensely enjoyed the 2nd and 2/10, where Chris knew that it was going wrong. It was going wrong, and his mouth is hanging open, a little bit of saliva connecting the top and bottom lip, and yet still.
And damn it, now Dan has the sound. I know his body language. Shit, we're going to replay it.
It's been a wild hour, huh? Greg's missing. Chris's mind stopped working. I became a climate denier.
And where is Greg? You just took out Adam McKay again and again while trying to fix it by saying this isn't about McKay, as you just kept spitting his name.
Use some solar power. Drive a hybrid car. Like, you can do things.
I'm just saying, My plastic straw at Burger King is not causing these Category 5s.
Recycle. Billy is eating. He's decided to eat there. Please get for me the sound of a discombobulated Chris Cote at your leisure. And as we talk about sound, I want to play some sound from Tahoe because I have been told that Greg Cote was the star of the proceedings yesterday. I was giggling on a text string where I just got one sound of Greg Cote. It was like 3 seconds long, and it was, I don't want to give too much away, but I, like Stugotz, couldn't stop playing it because it was making me giggle so much, because you didn't really need any context to understand that exactly what happened in that time capsule to Greg Cote is just golf. It's just golf to anybody who's not actually good at golf.
We'll build up to that sound. They've been recording a lot of stuff, mostly really good video, because, I mean, Lake Tahoe is beautiful. It's striking. It's going to pop on video, but I think we flew to Lake Tahoe to essentially have a really good episode of the Greg Cote Show with Greg Cote. A lot of this sound really centers around Greg Cote, who was really entertaining on the links yesterday, and Chris Whittingham was really leaning into his golf commentator role and was really charting the progress of Greg Cote throughout. So here's some sound from hole number 2.
Greg has stepped up to the tee on the second hole. There's a lake that he has to traverse in order to get to the fairway. He has not done so successfully. It's right in the water. That's lost ball number 2 on the day for Greg Cote. Another one in the water, Greg?
Yeah, I'm afraid so. But who's counting?
Well, we are. It's 2 now.
That was hole number 2.
Yes. Now, we had set the over-under at 10 balls in the water, and Greg thankfully got better, and we went under. I mean,
I'd like to relive just this interaction.
Another one in the water, Greg?
Yeah, I'm afraid so. But who's counting?
Well, we are. It's 2 now.
we had bets on it.
I think that's exactly what it should be in golf. The commentator should be able to go right up to the guy and say, or woman, and be like, hey, what's up with that?
Another one in the water, Greg?
Yeah, I'm afraid so. But who's counting?
Well, we are. It's 2 now.
Let's hear some more sound of Greg Cote here. What did he do wrong here?
Well, this is the type of golfer Greg Cote is. I'm sure Chris Cote has his frustrations because I'm sure he does a lot of things that annoy you, Chris, and he's a fully formed adult and he has no intention of changing.
I think next time I'm going to try to hit the ball better. I think that's the big adjustment I'm going to make, is to forget the last shot and concentrate fully on the next one.
But are you adjust your elbow, adjust your stance now?
No.
There's no technical aspect.
My game's not good enough to do all that shit.
I love it, man.
So good. I want to hear these interviews with golfers just like that.
But Chris Whittingham is so kind, and he's trying to open Greg's eyes to there are ways that you can improve this game. And when it comes to the greens,
the same thing he tried to do to Billy's climate denying. He just here's a couple of you can recycle, you can help out, be part of the group.
This is Chris Whittingham trying to be helpful yet again to Greg Cote.
Greg, we just saw you putt here from the fairway. Now, one thing I've noticed about your golf game, Greg, you putt with your left hand despite being a right-handed player. What's the thinking behind that?
Very astute of you to observe that. I had the yips so bad like 10 years ago that I was trying everything. I was putting with a driver. I was doing everything I could. I was praying people would give me a gimme on a 2-foot putt. And so finally, just out of desperation, I bought a left-handed blade. And, among all the bad things about my golf game, putting is probably not in the top 5. So we're okay.
So it's worked?
Semi. Yes.
You ever thought about a chest putter? You ever thought about one of those?
No. Look, I'm old. I'm not that old. When I see somebody using a chest putter, it's like, come on.
Like Bryson DeChambeau uses a chest putter now.
I don't care. He's got 1 foot in the grave as far as I'm concerned.
This Whittingham, by the way, has all the answers. I mean, I don't see him driving a Tesla. So helpful. What's he doing?
Greg was winded.
That was one of the funny things. Now, we still haven't played the sound that was making me laugh. I want to warn the audience, because the audience, Mike, I'd like to have a dispensation here. I think the joke gets ruined here if the curse gets bleeped out, because I believe that the sound that we have here, that Stugotz couldn't stop listening to last night, and I couldn't. I kept pressing it just to laugh because it's so perfectly Cody, and it's just so perfectly, so efficiently golf for people who are just not quite good enough at golf.
Now, Dan, you know how I feel about having the F word on the podcast, but in this instance,
it needs it.
I agree with you. Comedically, this really brings it home with the F word.
So if you're at work.
Yes, if you're at work or you're riding around with your child in your car, enjoying us that way, this is a warning that we're going to play audio that contains a cuss word.
And it's just golf. Do you agree with me, Stugotz, that if we needed a time capsule to quickly explain to somebody who doesn't understand what it is about this game that is so infuriating that the sound we're about to play is more symbolic than any you've ever heard?
Yes, it's the best representation of what you just described. Golf, yes.
Oh, golf is a beautiful sport on the ears. And Chris Whittingham, as I said, leaning into golf commentator, started paying attention that Tahoe, such a beautiful place. You can really hear nature in all of these clips. So he tries to concentrate and bring these sounds of the beautiful game to life in this one clip.
Oh, fuck me.
I just kept pressing it last night again and again.
Oh, fuck me. Oh, fuck me. Oh, fuck me.
We've all been there.
Danny Trejo is going to be on with us. We always take him when he's available because he's got an interesting story and he speaks openly in a way that sometimes you cannot get actors to talk about the stuff that you're most interested in. Sometimes actors are people who hide in the acting and just don't want to give you anything interesting in interviews. That does not apply to Danny Trejo. We've got to get to Billy. I want to get to his thoughts on Jose Altuve and the Astros deciding they don't have time for the All-Star game. I imagine that that's going to enrage Billy.
Oh, shut up. Honestly, enough of them. Why are they even there? They should have been banned for life. Let's just get right there. Right to the point. They should be out of baseball. Why are they in the All-Star game? And don't think that I'm not going to forget about DeGrom also skipping the All-Star game because that's disgraceful with a lowercase d.
Why lowercase d?
Because that's how he spells his name.
Yeah. Why is that disgraceful, by the way? I mean, what's wrong?
Go to the All-Star game, DeGrom, okay? Go to the All-Star game. People want to see you play. Just go play in the All-Star game. It's one day. 5 days you need to spend with your family. You spend 6 months away from your family. What's 5 days going to do?
Billy, he has had 4 trips to an MRI machine this year. I mean, leave the guy alone.
Well, how about a trip to Colorado and show your face, wave to the fans, and then you can go home.
I'm surprised you're taking out DeGrom and not the Astros more specifically.
Well, they're jokes. They shouldn't even be in the league anymore. I don't care about them. Why are they there? Honestly, why did they make the All-Star game? What a joke, baseball. This man for not punishing anyone. I can't believe this. I really can't believe it. You know why they don't want to go, right? I mean, you know why they don't want to go. They just don't want to get booed. That's why they're not going. They're afraid.
Altuve is saying that his team has a championship chance and that they need the rest.
He's also a liar, known liar, because he was a cheater and he lied about cheating.
US 101 South San Francisco.
Sorry.
Let's talk about this.
That's a fine.
Stugotz, let's talk about this. Because,
I'm sorry, that is a fine. I owe $5. Unfortunately, I have no money on me.
Let's talk about this.
Got it all on cannabis.
Let's talk about this. Mike Ryan, you saw that he's already got directions to the airport. He just informed us. He thinks that this was unbelievable to hear during the break. It really was. Hey, I'm leaving, guys. Didn't tell anybody he was leaving. And then when Mike questions him on it, he says the earthquake changed my plans.
Get the hell out of here, man.
It did. It changed everyone's plans. Are you kidding me? I mean, 31 tremors.
I'm not believing any of that bullshit, Stugotz. Your family's departure was set in stone. You're off to a lacrosse tournament either way. Maybe with some of the family, maybe without. But I don't believe none of this holds water. Basically, what I'm getting at is if you're leaving the show early, don't tell me a segment before. Tell me as soon as you find out you're leaving the show early.
Oh, I figured we had enough content where it was okay to leave early. I mean, I don't know. The way I was doing the math in my head once I saw your text yesterday was, we'll be around for like an hour or so, and then we'll be out of there for the day. Yeah. And by the way, that's been in the calendar forever. Okay. I mean, I have been so ahead of my vacation schedule. I know it's rattling to you, but that it's been in our calendar forever. I mean, New Jersey,
you leaving in the middle of a show? No,
Friday through Sunday.
Stugotz, you leaving in the middle of a show wasn't in my calendar for months. There's nothing in the calendar. We have the calendar open.
That's a fair point.
What did you just throw out there, thinking that I don't have access to this calendar?
A lie. That's
to cross-reference your.
Listen, you asked for my lacrosse schedule. I gave it to you. I mean, I am making a Herculean effort here by going cross-country San Francisco, playing golf at Lake Tahoe, and then flying back to Jersey for a lacrosse tournament. I mean, I am a great employee, I'm a great friend, I'm a great co-host, and I'm a great dad. Look at that, man.
You chose, these are all choices you made, okay? And also, don't say that you're a great co-host when one of your ensemble mates here on the show is on the air delivering content, and you don't have the single bit of decency to even mute your microphone as you input your directions into your phone.
That's a fair point. I can't argue it, Mike.
Also can't argue with the fact that if we keep talking about this, he will say that the earthquake affected the calendar. He will end up making that argument.
I was going to go there, Dan.
Mike, how did you experience him trying to pivot away from your wrath with the earthquake changed everything?
It did. It changed everything, man. My wife was in the car. She was like, I'm not driving anymore. I don't want to. She's scarred for life. She's like, I can't drive anymore. She thought my daughter was dancing in the back seat. She was hallucinating. I mean, this earthquake
hallucinating.
It was the cannabis. It was the gummy.
It was a 4.8, and I think you just threw your daughter under the bus too.
Wow. Wow.
There is some baseball from yesterday that, Billy, I wanted to talk to you about because we wondered as a show, and I think a lot of people were wondering, why the hell a couple of years ago did the Padres get in and win the Machado sweepstakes? And I love the energy around that team. I don't know if they have enough pitching. They're one of the best teams in the sport. I think they're the most fun team in the sport. I think Fernando Tatis Jr. being in the middle of that is the reason, Stugotz. I don't know if you saw this play. It's not something I've ever seen before. I was trying to figure out how he did it. He jumps up in the air for a line drive and realizes, Stugotz, while in midair, that he has not jumped quite high enough, and then seems to go higher without landing on the ground. And I'm watching this, and it defied physics and gravity. I didn't understand how he got higher after already having jumped, and I thought he was going to be on his descent, and he ends up catching a live drive. And I don't know if you saw the rest of this game. There was something that happened in this game, Stugotz. The Padres were down 8-0. They end up winning the game 9-8. But off of Scherzer, okay, with a 1-2 pitch, Stugotz, a reliever, Daniel Camarena, a reliever who never had a hit of any kind, on a 1-2 pitch from Scherzer that was 96 miles an hour and near his ankles, he hit a grand slam for his first career hit. He runs around the bases, and they put on him. They're doing the turnover chain. They're trying to get a little more fun and exciting. So they put on him as he arrives for his first major league hit, what they're calling, Stugotz, Slam Diego, a grand slam. And that place, Stugotz, that place was electric. San Diego can be hard to move in sports. San Diego, everyone's out in San Diego because San Diego's beautiful and you just relax. And I'm not going to the sporting events. That's not where I'm spending my life. But that ballpark, Stugotz, that ballpark was full because they've bought themselves into the baseball game. They bought themselves into the business. Machado got everyone's attention, and they knew Tatis was on deck in their system. And the Padres are now a baseball team that can matter for a while because it was really cool to watch that moment. A regular season game, San Diego can be really indifferent during the day, and it was exciting to watch.
That was a really fun baseball crowd. I went to a game there at Petco a couple of days ago, and the town is totally on fire for the Padres. They really assume the Chargers fan base, and that one town gets behind the one professional sports team that they have. To your point about their pitching, they might have enough. I thought Darvish was their ace. Musgrove has thrown a no-hitter this year. He's a local kid. Musgrove has been really good for them. They have Darvish. Blake Snell, actually, they acquired him. He hasn't been great for them. If he finds a way to ascend back to his mean, they got 3 really good pitchers for a postseason run.
I would love for them to advance in the postseason. They seem like a hugely fun team. It's just when I'm looking at the run differentials in, not just of the Dodgers, but I'm looking at the San Francisco Giants. I'm looking, San Diego's got enough offense. That's not up for dispute.
Oh, yeah. It goes without saying. Tatis is really, really good. Ryan Weathers, if you want to feel old, the son of David Weathers, has come in and been good for them, a former Fort Wayne Tin Cap that actually was appearing in the game that we had our Le Batard Show event at. He's been good for them. I think they have enough pitching. They'll probably make another move at the deadline, though.
But the Giants are plus 106. The Dodgers are plus 121. All 3 of those teams will likely make it to the postseason. They're really good. But I think Mike hit on something, Dan. I think the reason that there's 2 reasons that people are really behind the Padres. The Chargers no longer exist there, and I think that really helps. So it's a one-sport town. And I'm not certain it's really as much about the team as it is about Tatis. Like, that's one of the best athletes I've ever seen play that game and one of the most exciting players I've ever seen play that game. And I'm not certain, maybe that guy would translate in just about any market, even Miami, because he's just so exciting to watch play baseball.
The Astros are better. The Astros are overwhelming this season, and they're going to enrage Billy if they advance past this fun, exciting, and young Padres team.
He is an absolute superstar. Tatis. It pops off a baseball field how fun he is to watch. And that's really hard to do in that sport.
Correct.
And he wants it. He wants to be a star, which is so refreshing to see in that sport because you don't have anybody that's appointment television in that sport, really. Not even Mike Trout, who's a generational baseball player. Tatis wants to be a megastar.
Ohtani should be.
Ohtani should be, but you're gonna have the language barrier that's tough. But hey, Ichiro made up for that, and Ohtani's so unprecedented he might get there, but he's playing on a bad team. San Diego is good. Tatis, every inning break there is, it's a video of Tatis and his charisma cheering the fans up, and he's just the focal point, really, of not just San Diego, but baseball as a whole. If you watch MLB Network, almost all their bumps to break are coming back. It's Fernando Tatis. He's very marketable.
You mentioned Ichiro. I have a story here from an oral history. Mike Sweeney, you remember that name? It's close to 90s baseball.
Oh, yeah.
It's
what a batting title, I think.
Mike Sweeney, former Mariners teammate of Ichiro and a Royals first baseman, tells this story, Stugotz, about Ichiro. In 2000, I was part of the MLB All-Star team that went to Japan to play in the Goodwill Series against the Japanese All-Stars. Ichiro didn't play because he was preparing to sign with Seattle. Everyone knew about Ichiro. While we were in Japan, every time an American player got a base hit, you'd hear the term "nice batting" in a Japanese accent over the speaker system. It would say on the Jumbotron, "nice batting." I thought, wow, that's a kind, common gesture. So in 2001, it's the first few weeks of the season, and we're playing against the Mariners. So, of course, he hits a line drive over the shortstop's head for a single. With total respect, I didn't know if he knew any English, so I looked over, and in my imitation of what I heard in Japan, I said, "Ichiro, nice batting." And he looks at me and goes, "Mike Sweeney, nice ass." At the risk of agitating Billy Gill even more than we already have today, happy 39th birthday to Reniel Pinto.
Happy birthday to him. I don't care. Good luck.
His nipples are still on fire, by the way.
A pained look of laughter, laughing through the pain. Billy, what happened? You're wearing a mask, and I could see that your face contorted in a form of spasm.
Just Pinto, him. I mean, I have to laugh because what am I going to do? Cry about what happened, what he did to us in like 2006 or whenever it was? Pinto. Very negative today, huh? Just a moment of self-reflection. I'm just like angry at lots of things. What's going on?
You have been upset about things. I think it's the Astros. I think they make you insane. And the idea that Altuve...
And Acuna. Just like I see him occasionally muttering in a corner. Acuna.
Him. I mean, the guy plays by his own rules. He plays in a different Major League Baseball. You can't throw him up and in. And when you do, he strikes out. So what happens? If you hit him and then you get him. He should be on the Astros. The Astros. Do people like the Astros, honestly? Do people like the Astros? Like Astros fans. You have to have some sort of self-awareness in that, right? Where it's like, yeah, like we suck.
Oh, no, they turn it into us against the world. That's the fan bases love to do that. When you're the only ones who love somebody and they're polarizing and unpopular, but they can kick your ass because they're really good. Hell,
and they're cheaters. Don't forget about that. Cheaters, numbers, road and home, very different. Dan, leave that one out of there. Also, if everyone in the world agrees that you suck and you're like the only one that's like, I don't suck, it's like, no, you do. Like, we have kind of a consensus here. Like, you guys are kind of a-holes. Like,
put it on the poll. Do the Astros suck at Le Batard Show? I want to read some things here from the world of mixed martial arts. There is not a lot left in Conor McGregor. He has been a very popular fighter, polarizing. He is an above-average fighter, but he's gotten to where he is because of his mouth, because he is a very good talker, and he has done some of the laziest trash talking I have ever seen. He has not done very much fighting in the last 5 years, and now he's just mailing in the trash talk because what he's done here, it just couldn't be any lazier.
I'm not an MMA expert, but you are kind of minimizing what he did inside the octagon. He beat Aldo at a time where Aldo was just totally untouchable, and he didn't just beat him. Like, that's one of the great knockouts in UFC history.
Beat him quickly, and it is what led to his rise, but you're not going to tell me that his mouth is not the reason that he is cashing checks that are disproportionately large against, everyone else in his sport, that you can make an argument that is about as good, and he hasn't fought very much in the last 5 years.
100%. He was super marketable. His mouth absolutely helped, but at a certain point, your mouth can only have you ascend. It's why Chael Sonnen, who was I think close to an Olympic level wrestler, a tremendous fighter, but his mouth helped him get main event status. McGregor was really a really good striker.
I am not disputing that he is an above average fighter. He is an excellent fighter, but I can make the argument that the reason he's paid the way he is not because he's an above average fighter.
Fair enough. I don't want to be in Team Conor right now. I just have to play devil's advocate.
But this is what he says to sell, and he's very good at selling these fights. And he is fighting Dustin Poirier, who you can make an argument has been more exceptional recently.
Recently, he's really improved as a fighter.
And this is what he hits him with. Your wife, on Twitter, your wife, he says to Dustin Poirier, wants to see the hair around my dick and balls, bro.
This was a response to Poirier hitting McGregor with thinning hair insults.
That's right. He wrote first, your trash talk is as thin as your hair these days. See you soon, champ. And Conor McGregor escalates it again to, I'm going to read that sentence again. I should have probably warned you in the event that you're at work. I please accept my apology that I did not warn you on this sentence. Your wife wants to see the hair around my dick and balls, bro.
Oh, fuck me.
I will continue reading here, but the question I would ask immediately after what I believe to be the laziest trash talk I have ever seen, and Conor McGregor merely mailing it in at this point, is, does she? Does she really? Conor, put it on the poll, Guillermo, at Le Batard Show. Does she? I mean, who wants to see that? Honestly, Who in the world, Connor, no one in the world wants to see that. I don't care how famous you think you are. I don't care how much people want to get close to fame. I'm telling you, no one wants to see that. And he continues. See what that's like. It's real. The message request, mate. No trash talk. Man to man, it's bleeped up. I seen your interview with Mike. You think it was fake. It's not. Have a think on it in the sauna anyway. Really lazy. It'll sell the fight, but really lazy.
The fight doesn't really need all that help. Maybe he picked up a few lessons from Nate Diaz, who I know you just called this the laziest trash talk ever.
He's terrible. No, but he's not. He can't trash talk. He's not any good. The Diaz brothers
try.
The Diaz brothers are not.
Hey, they move the needle. It's effective.
I can't dispute that part. But what did you make of what Jake Paul now? And this is like this. The game's getting.
We're really scraping the.
It's getting dirtier
right
and dirtier. But this is what Jake Paul, and I am so loath when my choices are Dana White and Jake Paul. I'm like, do I have to choose a side? Does one of these sides have to be right? Can't they just both get beat up?
Oh, fuck me.
But here's Jake Paul directing this toward Dana White. You may have bullied your way to controlling thousands of fighters' careers, but I have never said I want to sign with the UFC, nor will I ever. Maybe I would consider letting you co-promote one of my events against a UFC champion like you did for Conor when he fought Floyd, because you wouldn't let Conor actually do it himself without you taking your cut. You live in lies, and every major fighter on your roster has complained about pay. Conor, Jones, Masvidal, Diaz, Ngannou. You even make up fake belts to sell tickets instead of giving Amanda Nunes her opportunity to headline. Remember, Dana, you were a cardio kickboxing instructor and didn't even create the UFC. Gracie and Davey created it. The Fertittas saved it, and the fighters made it popular. You're a bald bum who can't do an interview now without being asked about me. Pay your fighters more. They just signed a giant crypto deal, $175 million some on dollars for a fight kit.
It's the meme. The worst person you know made an excellent point.
What do you do?
He's right. I say he's right and I move on because Jake Paul is not right about a lot of things, and he just so happens to be right about this one. Dan, while we're on combat sports, an actual big fight of merit was going to go down in a couple of weeks, and Tyson Fury's camp has a COVID outbreak. So now that fight is being pushed to October. And while it's a very interesting fight, and we'll talk about it now in October, it's a shame it doesn't have the entire sports calendar to itself like it would have had. Let's talk about the Delta variant, shall we? Because I do crude research when it comes to COVID. The numbers on Good Morning America are very startling. But on my way home, I drive by a COVID testing site, and it's been pretty bone dry for the last few weeks. And yesterday, it was packed like it was December. And I got 2 text messages yesterday of people I'd come in contact with about a week ago. They're like, man, we got COVID. And I'm like, holy shit, this Delta variant is here. So I urge you, I know it's been politicized, but there was this report that came out with everybody that was hospitalized saying, damn, I should have taken the vaccine. And I know it's politicized because I know one person that's considered liberal that hasn't been vaccinated, and I know hundreds that haven't been vaccinated. I know exactly who they voted for. Please, this is a health issue, not a political one. Delta variant is bad. It's super contagious. What are you doing? Just get vaccinated.
Welcome, Amin.
Hi, guys. In addition to Tyson Fury, you guys might be interested in learning that Emmanuel Quickly, Miles Bridges, and PJ Washington were all members of the USA Select team that scrimmages against the national team to get them ready. They also are out due to COVID-19 protocols. So it's real, folks.
Shit's getting bad again. Shit's getting real bad again, and we'll know in about a week, and we'll be like, what the hell are we doing having full arenas when we're just taking people at their word that they're vaccinated? This shit is real.
That's my favorite thing. When I got vaccinated, I went and I got my vaccination card laminated. I said, you know what? We're going to show up everywhere. People are going to demand to see my paperwork to show that I'm vaccinated. And what I've learned is everywhere is just going honor code. Hey, you don't have to wear a mask if you're vaccinated. I'm like, cool. Are you going to ask or check or just going to assume because I'm not wearing a mask that must mean I'm vaccinated?
There was actually another sports connection as well yesterday in soccer. An MLS team traded one of their players, Eric Hurtado, this is Montreal, because he didn't get vaccinated. They want to have an entirely vaccinated team, and so they got rid of a player because he wouldn't get vaccinated. I also find really interesting in the NFL, where they basically want to make your life hell if you haven't been vaccinated, and you can live your normal life if you are, and yet players like Cole Beasley and others are still insisting on not getting vaccinated.
And the Miami Dolphins are making reporters be vaccinated, or else you can't cover the team.
Whose voice was that making an appearance from the shadows?
Informed. My brain's working now, Dan.
Haven't gone to him since this epic moment earlier in the podcast when we threw it to Chris Cote. And Chris Cote, a trained professional.
We don't have to do this. It's fine.
Trained professional broadcaster who knows you keep it moving no matter what. You keep the train moving. This is Chris Cote answering a question about earthquakes.
I want Chris Cote to explain to me fault lines.
Come again?
I want you to explain to me why earthquakes are a good thing.
They're not a good thing. Look, we had something happen last week where someone was saying to me that I was going to go to that. What was the thing that happened? I don't know. It's early out here.
Holy you were bad there.
Good job.
What
happened,
I was. Chris?
Tectonic plates.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of something, and it's not working right now. And you guys are seeing that happen in real time.
I want to deconstruct every part of this, Mike, but I want you to hear in the middle of it, just better than any of the words spoken, you will hear the pain in Chris Cote's voice about 15 seconds in, where you just hear a loud, exasperated sigh.
I want Chris Cote to explain to me fault lines.
Come again?
I want you to explain to me why earthquakes are a good thing.
They're not a good thing. Look, we had something happen last week where someone was saying to me that I was going to go to that. What was the thing that happened? I don't know. It's early out here.
Holy you were bad there.
Good job.
What
Yeah,
happened,
I was.
Chris?
Tectonic plates.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of something, and it's not working right now. And you guys are seeing that happen in real time. I don't like that.
Look at him. He's broken. Speaking of the microphone.
I don't like this.
You don't like what's happening here? Amin, is there any analysis from last night other than, wow, if Phoenix makes threes like that, they're going to win every time they play?
Chris Middleton, in about 90 minutes of play in the NBA Finals, has shot exactly 0 free throws. This is a guy who most of the time, most every matchup he sees on the court, he has a physical advantage. And he's shot 0 free throws. Drew Holiday, who also enjoys a physical advantage against most of his matchups, shot 3 free throws last night. So there's a lot of talk about Bud needing to get those guys going in order for the Bucks to have a chance. But at some point, when you're shooting as poorly as they have, the thought process should be, I need to generate offense one way or another. And I'm really good at shooting free throws, and I'm really big, and guys kind of struggle to guard me when I use my physical advantages. I should be living at the free throw line. But no, for Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday gave us a bunch of fadeaway jumpers over nobody. And to be honest with you, Dan, I have 0 confidence that the Bucks can win a game.
Really?
A game. What in their history gives us the confidence that they'll make adjustments? They don't do that. They don't do that, and the Suns are outplaying them in every facet of the game. Their role players are so bought in and invested and crisp at running their stuff. You don't ever see anybody elicit the kind of speech that Patrick Ewing gave that one kid at Georgetown about, when have you ever taken that shot? When have you ever made that shot for you to take it in a game? Everyone's playing within themselves, within the flow of the offense. And meanwhile, the Milwaukee Bucks are looking around like, we'll get into it when we get into it. I mean, even Bud's post-game comments, I don't know if you guys heard it. He was like, yeah, I'm confident those guys are going to get going. When? You got 2 games left.
When they go home.
Why?
Because they're going home, and that tends to change when teams go home and are desperate. And you saw the stats the last time that I believe that a team was down 2-0 and was a favorite in the next game. It was Cleveland returning home after being down to Golden State for 2 games, and they won by like 30 points, because when a team goes home down 2-0 and is a legitimately good team, that team tends to win game 3.
I'm beginning to question everything I've thought about the Milwaukee Bucks. since the Miami series, they haven't played well. They played well in pockets, but the level of basketball that they've done, dare I say it, this is one of the worst teams in finals history. Because most of the time, when it's a team that's outmatched, A, they played really great through the first 3 rounds. B, they're just outmatched. This is a better team. So Cleveland, the year they got swept by the Warriors, God bless them. They're doing everything they can, but they're just not good enough, right, compared to the Warriors. Cleveland, when they went to the finals against the Spurs, they're just not good enough, but they played great at every stage. Since the Miami series, Milwaukee hasn't played well, right? They got lucky because Harden and Kyrie got hurt, and even then they almost lost that one. They got lucky because Trae Young got hurt, and if Trae Young doesn't get hurt in that, they probably lose that one too.
You're playing a dangerous game, though, changing your mind in the middle of a series, which allows you to be wrong a number of different times and ways. The best way is just to stick to whatever it is you thought before the 2 games, because now if you're beginning
Don't you want to see Milwaukee at home once?
We need Milwaukee to win just so that we can get to Maria Taylor's contract.
Yes.
Because she is signed, I think, through Game 5. So we can't have that series. In fact, you might see some officiating disparities right now. You think that if the Bucks aren't shooting free throws right now, wait till they get to Milwaukee and everyone tries to get away from Maria Taylor making a decision in Game 6.
It's a real catch-22 for ESPN because a sweep, they lose money on the finals. A Game 5, they break even. And when you take Maria Taylor's contract into account, not so much. They need this puppy to go at least 6. If it goes 7, buku Bucks.
I'm really surprised, that you would bail after 2 games, especially when the last one is just the Suns making threes at a rate that they normally don't, that nobody makes threes in the finals.
But that's not why they won. It helped, definitely. But that's not why they won. They won because they played well, and they played well almost every game in these playoffs since Game 3 against the Lakers.
Amin, can you explain this to me? Because, they shot well from 3, but they were generating so many open looks. The ball movement looked like Spurs against the Heat.
There were 10 passes on one possession.
It was incredible. What are we seeing defensively? Because it's hard after that offensive performance to really remember, like Chris Whittingham said, a week ago, we thought Giannis was done playing basketball for a year. Defensively, are we seeing some effects of that injury?
Yeah, so I should start with the glass half full, which is this is nothing short of a medical miracle.
Holy bleep what he did in that game last night.
Unbelievable. It is unbelievable that 9 days earlier, this guy's leg looked like a flamingo with the knee on the back. And I said there's no chance he didn't do like one of the great ones of ACL, MCL, PCL capsule. That's what should have happened on that play. Then the next day they said, it's no rupture, it's just strained, which means that the ligaments are stretched to the point of rupture, but not quite rupture. Maybe there's even partial tearing. Still something I'm like, well, he's going to be off his feet for a while. Then they say he's going to play Game 1. And I'm like, that's a smokescreen. He plays Game 1. I said, not bad. And then last night, I'm like, wait a second. This guy was hurt 9 days earlier? This is one of the great recovery jobs of all time. And unfortunately, it's being wasted because the Bucks are being the Bucks again. Now, the defensive part, Mike, you're absolutely right. And I think the closest comp that comes to mind right now is Kevin Durant. That he came back from this Achilles tear, and everyone from the very beginning was like, oh my God, he looks just as good as he always has. And I said, the one caveat is he doesn't look good on the defensive end. The lateral movement isn't there. The reaction, because as an offensive player, you've got the ball, you know what you're going to do. You can gear yourself up, like, okay, I'm going to cut now. But when you're defending, you got to do that split instance, reacting to what's in front of you. And I think his reaction time is off. He's slower, and as a result, you get those plays like where him and PJ Tucker are bumping into each other, and they leave Devin Booker wide open for a three-pointer. These are all the things that are happening because he's just a step slow. But again, I'm not going to put it on him. Everybody on that team is not playing well.
Tom Haberstroh has showed up here. We will get his thoughts on what it is that Amin has said. Amin has knee-jerked in the other direction. He does not have Milwaukee winning a game in this series. I have been remiss in not talking about James Harden at Fashion Week in Paris with Lil Baby. That was wonderful. All of that. Of course, he got pulled over smelling like cannabis in France.
Friendly reminder, they're not testing for marijuana anymore in the NBA. So I think I'm gonna come out and say this. James Harden was high as shit in the photos that I saw yesterday. High as shit.
He also,
what was he wearing?
He looked like he was coming out of the Vatican, that he was just emerging. The beard helped him because I do feel he would have just stared straight ahead. The paparazzi, it seemed very confusing to him to emerge from the Vatican wearing some sort of papal garb and to see the French paparazzi there, and it looked like his Zoom froze.
Did you see the photo of him and Lil Baby looking at Kanye, who was wearing a mask over his entire head? Dude was tripping.
So, Amin, do you have any thoughts in this realm as James Harden does Paris Week looking very papal?
So, he's the cover of Papal magazine.
Oh.
Yeah!
Wow!
Congratulations.
I liked it too, but Tom Haberstroh grunted in a way that suggested physical pain of some sort.
Mike, correct me if I'm wrong. Was Lil Baby the rapper that he went to go see in the middle of like extreme lockdown? He said, "Well, my best friend at a party." And
forgive my ignorance here. Is Lil Baby the guy who was in a shootout down the street here?
No, that's Da Baby.
Oh,
But I can understand.
Charlotte's Own.
Yeah, I can understand what your confusion.
That is my age showing. I'm sorry. That correction is deserved. I'm sorry I confused the two.
There's a third one just named Baby, by the way.
And then there's Wheezy F Baby. It gets confusing.
There are a lot of babies.
Put it on the poll, Guillermo. Are you familiar? Can you differentiate between all the babies in the hip-hop game right now? Tom, the reason we're having you on is because you tweeted out last night that a photograph of, or a video of a Suns fan who was amusing to look at was taken with a special camera, that there are only 3 of them. What are you laughing about?
I know where this story is going.
Okay, well, he enraged photographers is what happened.
They went nuts.
He made them crazy because your tweet was spreading because it was funny to just see this video, this technology, or what we thought was this technology, used on a fan, a close-up that made a fan look particularly dorky. That we shouldn't have been, you were saying we shouldn't be wasting this technology on just this guy's dumb mug. And photographers attacked you like piranha.
Oh, it was so vicious.
Yeah, I was watching the game, and Devin Booker hit this like amazing shot, and to go up like 7 points in the third quarter. And they have this. I don't know cameras very well, so I'm just assuming it's an 8K camera, and whatever that is. So I tweet out, there are only 3 8K cameras on planet Earth. And one of them is zeroed in on this guy. And this guy is a balding white dude who's got a Phoenix Suns jersey, authentic, with no sleeves underneath it. Like, he is very proud to be wearing this jersey. And he's standing there for an extra beat, Dan, just an extra beat longer than they should have. And so the guy's just standing there like with his beer like, are you guys done filming me yet? So I don't know. Maybe use this camera to go look at a player on a bench going nuts. No, they got really loose with the camera last night to just focus in on random Suns fans.
And what happened after that?
The tweet went viral, but all these photogs out there were in my mentions, just blowing me up like, there's no such thing as like, this is not an 8K. This is just a 4K with an lower aperture.
Well, look at this guy. Doesn't know the difference between 8K and just using a simple aperture. Well, actually, that's the noise I hear whenever people tweet like that. And so many of them. I guess I didn't know that photog Twitter existed. That was the big revelation for me.
But also, like, Tom, every broadcast has this camera now. It started with a Washington Seahawks game in the NFL, and everyone was blown away by this camera. And now the copycat league, every TV production crew uses this camera now. There's no way in the world there's only 3 of these on the planet.
I know, that was part of the joke. That was part of the joke, is the idea that there's this like really fancy camera out there that I didn't see. I mean, I remember seeing it from like Joe Burrow a couple years ago after the LSU game, and it was beautiful. It was amazing. But like, we have the finals over here, the greatest athletes in the world right over here, and we're focusing on a guy that there's thousands of these guys at the bar across the street from the arena, and we're just zeroing in on this guy.
Tom, photographers are the worst. I learned that the hard way long ago when I questioned a photographer's ability because I said basically all he does is push a button and it takes 1,000 images a second, and then you just basically go through and you pick one. And I dismissed photography as clerical work, and I regret doing that because I feel like I was rude to people who do clerical work. Because photography, honestly, right now, it's not what it used to be. Photography just as a practice. All you have to do is point and shoot and hope that you get something. And then you just look to see, oh, did I get something? Was I looking in the right direction? Unless you're looking in the right direction. These cameras autofocus. They do everything by themselves. It's not an art anymore. I miss the Polaroid. And in fact, I miss the days when you had to paint people. Because that was art. That's how you captured a moment.
Put it on the poll, please, Guillermo. Do you miss the Polaroid? Do you miss the days that we used to paint people? What happened specifically, though? They were very mean to you, right, Tom? There was a cruelty going on.
Well, what happens is they get mad because I'm blasting this guy. Because some people were upset because, hey, this guy just was having a good time at the game and now you're roasting him. And I'm like, I mean, it's not that he's an average looking human being. He's a very normal looking, there are people in my mentions saying this is the most average looking man on planet Earth. And we're focusing on him. I got people saying he looked like Kevin Spacey, Dave Matthews, Homer Simpson was a great one. They said this guy just looks like a personification of Homer Simpson. And I thought that was great. But the other layer to this, after they were piling on me for just getting a laugh at this guy who clearly was like, hey, can we get this camera off me? I did a fist pump and now it's as awkward. The guy was wearing, and Amin, maybe you can help me out with this. The guy was wearing a Suns jersey with the number 50 on it. I don't recollect a Suns player with the number 50. So help me out here, guy. What's going on there? This guy goes to the NBA Finals, wears an authentic jersey with the Phoenix Suns number 50. I looked this up. There are 3 players in the Phoenix Suns history with the number 50. William Bedford, who played for 1 season in 1987. Eddie House,
that's my guy.
2006. Your guy, I mean. Eddie House played for 1 season with Phoenix. And Joel Kramer, who played 6 years from 1978 to 83. He averaged 3.8 points and shot 73% from the line. So I posit to you.
It's Eddie House.
What jersey is this guy wearing?
1,000% Eddie House. Eddie House played 1 year, but what a year it was. I mean, there were so many games where it was like, this game's over. Eddie House goes in, hits 4 threes. Guess what? Suns are back in it. He was such a fan favorite that year. Every game, they would chant, Eddie, Eddie, Eddie. 1,000%. There are a bunch of number 50 jerseys walking around Phoenix to this day because of Eddie House.
Is the Eddie House experience in every city? It was 1 year, but what a year it was.
1,000%.
Whittingham, you should have seen the radiant smile that swept over the face of Mike Ryan thinking about what a year that was with the Miami Heat. It was just Eddie House. You should have seen Tony in the chat. He's wandering around pantomiming giant balls because Eddie House, what we associate with Eddie House in Miami is him making a 3. I think, was that at OKC? I'm trying to remember a 3 from 10 years ago. And then it was stolen. He stole that from Sam Cassell, but it was Eddie House. It was a magical joyride on a unicorn and a meteor.
Lucky to have 2 tours of duty with Eddie House. And yes, you're right, that OKC game, Dan, because we remember those Heat seasons and regular season trips better than we remember the time that our children were born.
Eddie House is responsible for the single greatest trash talk in-game I've ever heard in my life. So when NBA teams are playing against one another, you in the locker room, you have a board that has a scouting report for every player who's in the rotation, right? 8, 9 of these sheets, individualized for each player. Obviously, we're not going to do a scouting report for the guys at the end of the bench because they don't play. We're not going to waste time on that. So we're playing the Heat, and we're destroying them. And it is extended garbage time, in the words of my man Marv Albert. And Gerald Fitch is in the game. You guys remember Gerald Fitch? He hits a shot, and he starts chirping at our bench. And Eddie looks at him, and he says, "Mother, you didn't even make our board." And it's just one of those things where even the Heat players were laughing. It's just the worst takedown you could ever have. Like, you were so irrelevant. We didn't even bother printing the paper about you and sticking up there. So take that. Yeah, petered out.
It was so meek. What happened to you?
Yeah, good job, Amin.